morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, May 26th, year of our Lord 2026. And you're locked and loaded, as you've probably been most of the morning, right here on rumble.com/LFATV. We're also simulcasting on YouTube. So welcome. This is Live from America. And I am your ever so humbled, God-fearing, and God-loving host of this show. My name is Jeremy Harrell, and I am broadcasting from the Hawkeye state of Iowa. Allow me to introduce to you, fresh off his mini vacation, with a full tank of gas and ready to rock and roll, producer Eli. How we doing, my friend?
I wouldn't exactly say a full tank of gas. I could use about 12 hours more sleep. But anyway, it's great to be back. Had a great time. Hope everybody else had a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm fully recharged. Screw it. I'll just say it. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. We got news to get to, baby. Let's get to it.
Scotty is in the building. How you doing? Sheila's here. Jobo T. Carls. Big Mama Campbell. Dolly Diva. Fun Mama. Sharon. Sherry. Redneck. Redline Live. Pam. Tired. MJ Randall, 12GG, Willie Rumble, Liddy's mom, DeCluse, J Deeds, Miguel Ortiz, Jennifer Webster, and let's give it to one more here on Rumble. How about, let's see, I'm trying to look for a name I have never seen before. Well, let's give it to Carol126. How about that? Good to see you all. And for everybody over on YouTube, you know, I got to give shout outs over there as well. Let's give it to Jason Beatrice, Darren Connolly, Sheila is over there. How you doing? Good to see you. Another one, Bites McGrowan, Bowling, Reed C16. Thank you very much for being here. And Stephen Bryant. Thank you for being on the stream over there. You guys should do me a favor. Somebody said, please get rid of Jason. Well, the thing on YouTube is, we're not going to get rid of anyone on YouTube. YouTube is one of those things that we're just simulcasting on because we got the page back. And I'm going to show people exactly how the left operates and how the American-hating, anti-Trump scum operates in real time. Okay? But you can block them so you don't see them. You can definitely do that. Now, if you're on YouTube and you hate this channel, hit the thumbs up twice. The thumbs down twice. If you're on Rumble and you hate the channel, hit the thumbs down twice. Let us really know how bad we are, how much ass kissers we are of President Donald Trump, a cult that we're in. If you like it, please do me a favor on both platforms, share and hit that thumbs up. All right, yesterday was Memorial Day. Obviously, we were off yesterday, and we were, celebrating with memorializing the people in our family and friends that we knew that, fought for this country and are no longer with us. And some of you might have somebody more recent in your family, and it hits home a little bit more than others. But for all those who, you know what I noticed yesterday, Eli, and I don't know if you saw this. I know you were traveling yesterday, but what I noticed yesterday, and I think we'll really see it 4th of July, is I'm seeing more patriotism out there today than I have seen maybe since 2017, which was the year President Trump took office his first term. Patriotism came back in a big way. People were all excited that, you could say Merry Christmas again and not have eyes turn your way and give you the stink eye or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, maybe traveling, you saw it yesterday, but I was driving around yesterday. I saw more American flags. I saw more people celebrating. I saw more military men and women out there in uniform than I think I've seen in a decade or longer.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. From here all the way to Virginia. Oh my God, it was an 8-hour trip. Anyway, you're right. I saw American flags all over the place. People had peppier attitudes. They had more patriotic outlook on life. We were just, a lot more friendly to each other. I didn't see so many friggin' LGBT trans flags. A couple here and there, but it seems to be dwindling, and I love that.
That's right. And you know what? We're celebrating something else, too. 6 years this last weekend, Eli, of George Floyd's sobriety. That was 6 years that man has been clean and sober from drugs, alcohol, beating women, and killing babies. Isn't that amazing? You can turn your life around.
Such good news, bro. It takes my breath away.
Takes his breathe away, and he's got a lot to lear, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a lot to lear. But a big, big shout out to George Floyd, who is now 6 years sober. I wonder if everybody over at YouTube is celebrating that. You guys celebrating over there on YouTube that George Floyd is celebrating his 6 years of sobriety? I mean, this is big news, ladies and gentlemen. When somebody does this good with their sobriety, we've got to pat them on the back or put an E on it. Either way, Eli, either way, sobriety has been achieved. Whether you pat him on the back, whether you put a knee in the middle of it, whatever it is, it seemed to have worked.
Our hats off to you, good sir.
Absolutely. George Floyd. If George Floyd can get away from drugs, alcohol, killing babies, and beating women, then so can you. So can you. So, anyway, I wanted to start off today's show with a little tribute to Mr. Floyd, if it's okay, for his, for what he went through, for his sacrifice on this planet. George Floyd.
6 years ago, George Floyd changed America forever, mainly by creating the most profitable pandering and virtue-sidling opportunity Washington has seen in decades.
What can be, unburdened by what has been, began with Willie Brown and now kneels forward in honor of George Floyd through these Democratic knee pads.
Back when I was vice president, Corn Pop told me George Floyd represented the soul of that. You know the thing? Come on, man.
We honor George Floyd tonight with a traditional Somali dish and several federally funded learning centers.
We pour this liquor out tonight for George Floyd, and for
liquor.
every NVIDIA share I somehow purchased 15 minutes before national emergencies. These arms represent resilience, dignity, and the upper body strength required to keep uplifting white liberals through every emotionally exhausting racial controversy.
I wear the tan suit in honor of George Floyd because both became national obsessions that cable news executives refuse to stop monetizing.
6 years ago, George Floyd changed America.
Hey, Eli, that is a nice tribute from some of his greatest supporters. Literally. Like lifting him up, the casket and all. What a great tribute to the man, the meth, the legend.
My God, that was good. It's time to stop messing around, though.
Yeah, seriously. Folks, let's get to the news. Time to stop messing around. The man, the meth, the legend, Eli. George Floyd.
That's just some good stuff. I loved Ilhan Omar's tribute with the bananas and rice. It looked delicious. It looked delicious.
Yes. She says, it's now time for us to honor you with traditional Somalian food here for you. Oh, unbelievable. That was a great, hey, on the real though, the man, the meth, the legend. As a matter of fact, Tim Waltz went down in honor of George Floyd and started dancing with the local folk there. I'm not kidding. Oh, break it down, Tim. Yeah. Stolen valor. Do the valor. Do the stolen valor. Do the stolen. Do the valor. Do the stolen valor. Now do the fraud. Do the fraud. And lean back. Lean back. Do the fraud. Lean back. Yeah, man. Look at that. Tim Waltz. That's right. He's cool. He's hanging with the blacks. Yeah.
All right, well, that's our time, y'all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's got a handicapped son that he beats. And he hangs with the blacks. Eli, what'd you think of that? Tim Waltz doing the moves, right? Doing the stolen valor and the fraud. Those are great dances.
I think I heard about there was some deleted scene we saw where his kid came up and said, "Can I dance too, Dad?" And he was like, "Get out of here. Quiet, you."
Yeah, grabbed him by the arm and said, "Get the hell out of here, you little retard." Remember when he did that, dude? Like, damn, man, that was ruthless. He grabbed his son didn't know any better. Gus, Eli, poor Gus, right? Long lives Gus, live strong Gus. Gus was coming out at the DNC, at the Democratic National Convention, where there was no Democratic election to, finger Kamala Harris pick Kamala Harris as the nominee that would go on and face President Trump. There was no election, but Gus was at the DNC, right? He was walking around, Disneyland, because it looked all beautiful and there was balloons and confetti and music, and he was like, whoa. And his dad said, "Get the hell over here. What the hell is wrong with you?" So rude to Gus. Poor Gus.
I guess his dad didn't want to be embarrassed.
Oh, I guess not. Hashtag Gus Life Matters. Gus Life Matters. That's what it is. Gus Life Matters, ladies and gentlemen. And so do burning tires, by the way. It's also marked the 6th anniversary, Eli, since Tim Walz's wife stopped sniffing the smell of burnt tires from the city burning down, which was mostly peaceful and patriotic, though.
All kinds of success lately. Congratulations.
Shredder said, "Jeremy, I love your show." Hold on, just Shredder. This is Shredder from the Ninja Turtles. "I love your show. Listen to you every day. You are very accurate in your info and know your politics. Love your humor." Well, thank you very much, Shredder. And guess what? They love my humor over on YouTube as well. And that's why they come in every single day to watch. Because you know what? Whether you love us or hate us, you can't get enough of us, right? And you know what I can't get enough of? That Rise Up coffee, baby.
In the long history of the world, the struggle to survive has been a constant. The human spirit has been frequently tested. Every man has had his own struggle. Every man has made sacrifices. And every man has been pushed beyond their limits. Survival is crucial. The desire to be prepared has never wavered. Generations that came before us realized the importance of gaining every advantage. How you face adversity could change your life. Success depends on it. History is defined by it. Our spirit is fueled by it. Our strength comes in many forms. The strength to fight, the strength to overcome, the strength to believe, the strength to win, the strength to rise. Rise Up Coffee. Rise up to meet your challenge.
And you can get your Sumatra Gold or your American Pecan Rise Up Patriotic Roasted in Iowa Coffee today by going to jeremyherald.com or lfatv.us. Please let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. And by the way, speaking of the Messiah, if you did not get a chance to watch Rise Up this morning, woo! You're going to want to go watch that, okay? You're going to want to go watch that. All right, as we get started today, let's lift up our cups and let's have our first slurp of the day. Do me a favor, whatever platform you're watching on, share us out. We would appreciate it. We got a few thousand people on Rumble tuned in right now. Just got maybe like 100 people over on YouTube, if that. Share it out. Let's get going. By the way, did you see Patriot Pals on Saturday? This Saturday we did, our Patriot Pals was focusing on American ingenuity and American inventions. And we did Benjamin Franklin, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison. The light bulb, electricity, and the car, and the assembly line. And making it affordable for people that, so they could buy a car and didn't have to be rich to do so. Things that really transformed this nation into, and part of being the most amazing nation to ever grace the soil of this earth. So, awesome Patriot Pals, and we're just getting started there. We got some great mail today, some coloring books and things like that we're going to fit into the curriculum of Patriot Pals, and we are going to try to get that distributed to Homeschooling Network. So if you have a homeschool network out there, or if you belong to a homeschool network, then, stay tuned, okay? All right, first and foremost section of today's show, President Trump issues yesterday a savage Memorial Day greeting and nickname for his favorite Democrat enemies. We'll get to that in a second. President Trump woke up on Memorial Day in a fighting mood and had a message for his Democrat enemies after releasing a touching statement earlier this morning. Now, we are just coming off two major things. If you were in any way attached to the news this weekend, you saw there was another person in D.C. just right in the vicinity of the White House firing what I believe I think it was a long rifle, could have been an AR, but gunshots were going off in D.C. this weekend. We'll get to that a little later. At the same time, during this weekend, we saw President Trump call his cabinet back to the White House. J.D. Vance had to be ushered and rushed back to the White House because talks with Iran and including all of the neighboring countries, nations, into the Abrahamic Accords to put pressure on Iran. We thought that we might have seen an end to the conflict over there this weekend. Still going on, close to being done, but a very, very eventful weekend. And Eli, I just have before we get going more on this Memorial Day, shooter fired a revolver 3 times and then got lit up. Okay, it was a revolver. I thought for sure it was a lot more than 3 shots, though. I thought there was multiple shots that rang off. You can hear them in the background of the news reporters reporting. Skipped his son's wedding. Couldn't win that with the press. No, you couldn't. They don't care that he's trying to end conflicts and end wars all over the world. Oh, but he did. He hates his son. He didn't go, right? But Eli, is it too much to ask? Hey, Democrats, can you stop trying to kill our president? Can you just stop? Can you freaks, you trannies, and you crazy pharmaceutical drugged up scumbags, can you just stop trying to kill the president? Can you just let him be president and let him do what the people elected him to do? Eli, is that too much to freaking ask?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. And every single time this happens, and it happens way too often, they come out and say, see, guns are horrible, guns are horrible. Who's the asshat behind the gun? It's always a Democrat or it's always a trans. So as a few guys just stop. I mean, are the guns making you do these things? No, they're not. They're inanimate objects.
Yep. Are the voices in your head making you do these things? And if they are, then guess what? There is a place where people like you used to go to, which we need to bring back. right? We need to bring back the scary-looking mental asylums. Throw these people in there, let them rot. Now, if they get saved while they're in there, great. But their physical body needs to rot in these mental institutions until the day that they are worm food. Do you understand? I am so sick of every day hearing about another person who tried to kill the president. The president doesn't take a salary. He's the only president that walked away from the presidency poorer than he was when he went in. He's constantly under threat of dying. And he's got the strongest stock market the world has ever seen. Can you just stop? President Trump opened up on Memorial Day saying this: the greatest fighting force in the world has ever known is built upon the extraordinary service of selfless men and women who safeguard our liberty and preserve our way of life. Since the birth of our nation nearly 250 years ago, countless souls have lost their lives in this noble and righteous pursuit on Memorial Day. And we honor these American heroes. Do you ever remember Democrats honoring American heroes without at least accompanying that honor with an illegal alien somehow? Well, Democrat would come out and say, we honor our American heroes, but we honor the immigrants who make our country great as well. You know, they always just throw that in there. They've got to throw it in there. They can't just honor America. They can't just honor the men and women who died for this country without accompanying it somehow with some ridiculous statement about how immigrants make our country great. Now we'll get back to it. Oh, go ahead, Eli. Sorry.
You know, what really chaps my ass too is the fact that they died for these people's rights to act like an asshole towards them who died for their rights.
I know. That's why they're so honorable, right? Because they died for those people to have the right to bash them for dying for them. It was President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance yesterday. Taps and benediction.
Now receive the benediction. God of all creation, we pray you bless our nation, our leaders, and those who make decisions over us with wisdom, unity, and grace toward all. Now may the God of peace, who provides freedom to gather, equip us and guide us as we leave this place. May we carry the burden of the brave who paid the ultimate sacrifice by honoring their legacy through our pursuit of justice and compassion. In your strong name I pray, amen.
So that was Taps and Benediction yesterday. We also have just another quick video here as well. President Trump honoring the fallen yesterday. This was at Arlington National Cemetery, and this was another clip. We're going to go ahead and play clip number 2 from the Memorial Day.
6 weeks from now, our nation will reach a historic milestone, 250 years of majestic American independence, something. But it's only right that first we remember the immense sacrifice that has been brought to us and this momentous anniversary year. That's what it is. It's a momentous year. Before we hail the founding, we honor the fallen. Before we celebrate the triumph, we pay the tribute. Before we crown the victory, we count the cost. Today, we are reminded that there could be no 4th of July without America's armed forces, and there could be no Independence Day without Memorial Day. We owe our liberty, our self-government, the glories of our history, and our very nation itself to the generations who paid for it with everything they had, the ultimate sacrifice. Less than 6 weeks from now.
And that's the problem that I have with these people that are sitting there saying, you send our sons and daughters to war, this pointless war, this war of choice. How dare you do this to them? They signed on the dotted line to do this. Not trying to justify anything, but I signed that line too. And the biggest thing that goes through your mind is, am I willing to die for this country? Yes or no? And if I'm willing to die for this country, then I'm going to sign on this line and I'm going to do whatever I have to do in service of my country. That's it. Anybody else in this chat sign on that dotted line? What was the main obstacle? It's always that. Am I going to die? And guess what? We're all going to die. And if I have to do it in service of my country, then guess what? I'd be honored to do so. Like every man and woman who joins the military. But guess what? Joe Biden killed more Americans in a botched pullout than have died fighting these disgusting Iranian Muslim extremist cowards. Ilda Jaco says, my son did. He's currently serving. Hero. You know what leftists did yesterday? Tried to cause an insurrection. That's what leftists did around the world yesterday. Or simped for a drug addict, wife-beating baby killer named as George Floyd. Celebrated him. They didn't care about what made this country great. Happy Memorial Day to all, including the Democrats. I love that. Who disrespect our military. That's all they do. Who disrespect our military and all of the tremendous success that it has had over the last year. God bless those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. I love you all. President Donald J. Trump. Why do you think recruiting numbers are through the roof? Hey, lefties over on YouTube, explain that to me. Why are recruiting numbers through the roof? And why is the military's favorability of President Trump over 80%? The people who voted President Trump in know he loves and honors the military, and the people of the military knows that he loves and honors them. They don't need YouTube's approval. They don't need TikTok's approval. They don't need the approval of some washed-up loser who peaked in high school and who's sitting on the couch right now, unemployed, with a Cheeto on his stomach and his finger up his ass, talking about how bad Trump is and how, he filed for bankruptcy 6 times, loser. Eli. It's like that meme of that guy who's watching all those athletes do tremendous things but mess up a little bit, and he cuts back to him and he's like fingering his belly button going, what a loser. That's who these people are online.
I totally would have nailed that pole vault.
Absolutely. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. And you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. You see him every day. There's a person in the YouTube chat, Eli, named Illegal Alien, whose answer to what I just said is propaganda and lies. Propaganda and lies. Orange man bad. From the river to the sea. Put your penis inside of me. 'Cause I'm gay. And weird. Don't have a normal real life. Never had a paycheck, never paid a tax. Just suck off the tit of the government and think I'm so cool. I've never seen bigger losers than TDS-ridden Democrats. They are such a waste of space and such a detriment to society. Nobody would ever marry them, nobody would ever employ them, and nobody would ever be friends with them. Not even their own kind. They're that much of a loser.
Oh, absolutely. Damn Skippy. 100% agree. Earlier, that same genius said, impeach, convict, 86, and imprison 47 in his race of MAGA GOP sycophants. Good luck with that, you and whose army.
Yeah, exactly. You guys can cry, complain, shit yourselves all you want. Whatever you want to do. We're winning, you're losing. It'll never change. You're losers, we're winners. We didn't try to kill your president. We let him wander around, shake hands with dead people, ask who shit his pants, and eat ice cream. Our president's kicking ass and taking names, and you guys try to kill him daily. Isn't that weird? Your president let in 20 million illegals who killed Americans. President Trump honors those Gold Star families during Memorial Day speeches in Arlington National Cemetery. That's what he did. And I call them Gold Star families because I know that they're angel mom and angel dads, but hey, those families to me are Gold Star families, man. Family members who have just wonderful people in their that are growing up in their family and they die out of it. It's basically like a war that they didn't even sign up to fight in. Your president showers with his daughter and then jails the people who find the diary that she wrote it in. Your president auto pen pardons people who haven't even, he doesn't even know what he pardons them for. You're just pardoned for anything that you could have ever possibly done. Our president pardoned American patriots like the J6ers who had an absolute and honorable right to be there protesting until your people shot bean bags and tear gas at them, funneled them into one area, then opened up the gates and unlocked the doors. Our president wins. Your president cheats.
Present. Hard.
Our president escapes assassination attempts. Your president has dementia and cancer. Our president doesn't take a paycheck. Your president took everyone's paycheck. Our president gives you a retirement and a 401k. Your president destroyed all of that. Our president has a stockpile of energy and gas and oil. Your president sold it for pennies on the dollar. There's no comparison. We're winners. You're losers. And we love this country and you hate it. So suck on that for a while. And remember, Eli, ice cream doesn't have bones.
Not so sure about that. You better go ask Corn Pop.
Yeah, I heard he was a bad dude. Heard he was a bad dude. And the people over there on YouTube asking how you stop MAGA, you can't. You can't even kill us to stop us. Now, CBS's Margaret Brennan, you remember, Nobody Cares, Margaret? Oh, by the way, LFATV.us, official website. LFATV.us, that's where you can go get your news. sign up for the newsletter, watch past shows, clips, and shop at the store. And guess what's on the store? This little shirt that says, "Nobody cares, Margaret." Right here. I don't really care, Margaret. J.D. Vance. Margaret decided she was going to try to trip up some Medal of Honor heroes yesterday and talk about how they hold so much optimism and so much hope for this country when this country has got so many problems. Trying to get them to say that the country was bad somehow. Trying to make it political somehow.
We are coming up on this 250th anniversary of the American experience. What specifically makes you optimistic? Because this country at times can feel dark these days.
Yeah,
There's a lot of darkness. What makes you
CBS, for
feel
sure.
optimistic?
Well, ultimately, because we're in Washington, D.C., and everything revolves around politics, we have to remember that politics aren't everything. American lives continue on. Children are born, children go to school, lives are achieved, dreams are achieved. This country is a great place. It's not politics. It's not just what's the news bites coming off of media. Ultimately, we continue forward as a country, continually imperfect, continually evolving forward, always trying to achieve a more perfect union. That's what's important to remember, what we can achieve aspirationally. No other place in history, time, or on this planet have ever gotten to where we are today. We need to be proud of that, and we need to remember that is what we stay focused on, what we can be.
What we can be, and the promise of it. What makes you optimistic?
It's so important to remember who we are as a country and take an opportunity to celebrate that and think about all the challenges that we've overcome, how far we've actually come. You know, I think if you frame it that way, you think very deeply about our trials and tribulations from beginning to today. We've made tremendous strides. Our country is, you know, we're a global superpower. Our economy is doing well. All those things are great. And take politics aside, out of this whole conversation. Be grateful for what you've got and the opportunities that it's provided for you. And if you do that, I don't see how you can't be optimistic about our future.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. Thank you both. And
Yeah.
thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was so happy. Thank you. Oh, thank you both. I'm sorry I didn't get out of you what I was trying to get out of you, which is for you to say that the country sucks. But did that sound like a sincere thank you? Did that sound like somebody who was very gracious and honored to have 2 Medal of Honor recipients in her presence? What do you say about this country when it's so dark and gloomy and it's run by an Orange King freak? Well, we love this country and we would fight for this country, and this country is a lot more than about who's president right now. It's about the greatness that this country has to offer, the absolute, you know, life of Riley, if you want it, if you work hard enough, you could obtain. Yeah, well, thank you. Ugh. Thank you for not saying what I needed you to say. This would have been a great dig at President Trump. Republican Michigan governor candidate John James goes nuclear on mainstream media for their incurable case of Trump derangement syndrome. Let's go to him now.
Because TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is a communicable disease, and it's being spread by the mainstream, lamestream, fake news media.
Yep.
President Trump is literally spending his holiday weekend negotiating for peace in the Middle East. He had to miss his son's wedding because he loves this country, wants to keep us safe, and this is the 4th attempt on his life that we know of in the past 2 years. This is because you keep calling people, the lamestream media calls the president Hitler, makes comparisons, and would like to see him gone. And this is the type of thing that begins creeping into the mainstream and radicalizing these people who are taking attempts on the president of the United States. It must stop. It must stop now. And we need to remember the reasons why we're celebrating Memorial Day is bringing our country together. And the extremists trying to rip us apart need to absolutely be called out and held accountable for their terrible words and actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Trump sue them for like millions of dollars too? Hey, Eli, I know we have a couple birthdays. I didn't see them all, but I did see one, Tammy's birthday. She's been watching since the backyard days. And it sounds to me like she would like you to sing a happy birthday to her. So, on you, my friend.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tammy, and whoever else's birthday it is today in the chat. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Yes, and LJ Sin, it was her birthday yesterday. So, happy birthday as well. The director says John James is a loser. He won't win in Michigan. Perry Johnson has my vote. John James is a coward who has not been present at the Senate since he won his seat. Sound off in Michigan. Let people know about the people in your state. I'm not there, so I didn't have that information either. But he's not wrong in what he said. I wouldn't call this weekend that happened an assassination attempt. But you can bet your bottom dollar that if that guy who was shooting off those shots, those rounds in D.C. this weekend, if he had President Trump in his scope, he'd have shot him. Of course he would. Of course he would. Why do you think that guy's running around shooting multiple shots in D.C.? The guy was clearly crazy, right? By the way, almost 3,800 people watching live on Rumble right now. Big shout out to everybody watching there. Thank you so very much for being here. And about 70 people watching over on YouTube. So, not bad. Right now, we're number 4th on the leaderboard on Rumble. So, thank you guys very much. 69-year-old Army veteran, legal immigrant, and owner of what people know as the Trump House in Southern California, brutally beaten to death. To death. Carrie Sharon, the 69-year-old owner of the Trump House in Southern California, has died after being brutally beaten by a Navy veteran. Now, I know of this house. We've seen it before. It's been all over social media for a long time. Sharon or Sharon, I don't know the proper way to pronounce his last name. An Army veteran was violently assaulted by a 32-year-old Thomas Caleb Butler. Thomas Crooks, Butler, Pennsylvania. Thomas Caleb Butler. In an unprovoked attack on May 20th outside of Sharon's home. Carrie Sharon decorated his Escondido home with Trump banners and American flags. The Trump-supporting Army veteran died Sunday, Memorial Day Eve, a night after he was hospitalized and put in critical condition. Butler was previously charged with attempted murder, elder abuse, and making criminal threats and battery. His charges will be upgraded to murder after Sharon died in the hospital. Deputy District Attorney Ross Garcia said Sharon was violently attacked by Butler. Quote, it was a single punch to the jaw. The victim then falls to the floor, and there hits his head. The owner of the heavily decorated pro-Trump home in Southern California died later on after the charges were already filed. That's why the charges will now be upgraded. Butler, who has been described in local reports as a Navy veteran, has pleaded not guilty to the charges, including attempted murder, elderly abuse, and more. Not guilty. Let me guess. When a shooter shoots somebody with a gun, it's the gun's fault. But when a Democrat kills somebody with a punch, it's not his fist's fault. Isn't that weird? Somebody else must have magically made him do it, puppeted him somehow. Let's go to the local story there, local Fox affiliate there.
He was brutally attacked last week, with the suspect allegedly beating him and then stomping on his head before a witness stepped in. Our Sarah Barker spoke with the victim's wife and has more.
Right now, I don't know what I don't can say anything, only I feel a lot of pain in my heart. That's it.
Maria Sharon dealing with the heartbreaking loss of her husband, Kerry Sharon, a 69-year-old Army veteran.
Kerry was a Trump supporter, but he was a patriot first. And he was a strong believer in freedom of speech. And when people would approach him and give him any guff over his opinions, he didn't let it get under his skin. He would just say they're entitled to their free speech just like I am.
Kerry died from his injuries Sunday night after being attacked last week outside of his Escondido home. Known for its large American flag displays and supporting President Donald Trump.
If you don't agree, it doesn't give you the right to vandalize or do violence, and that goes both sides.
Thank you.
There's too much violence, you know, so it's a sad day.
God bless Kerry. God bless Maria.
Now friends and neighbors are standing outside of his home, just as he would be doing this Memorial Day weekend.
Used to see him every morning when I'd go pick up grandkids, and I would stop by on the way back and talk to him sometimes.
We've had people drive by, lots of support, and then there's a few that drive by like they act like they're going to run into you, and they're flipping you off, or they're wailing on the horn all angry, and that needs to stop. It needs to stop. You can have a different belief, but you don't have to threaten people, intimidate people.
Even as Maria goes through the pain of
With a
losing her
legal
husband,
immigrant
she says she feels bad
wife.
for the suspect's family.
I feel bad for the mother, you know, for the guy who do that, because for him too, because I ruined his life. Have a kid, have a girlfriend, have a mom. I'm feeling bad for her, but the stuff he do with my husband is terrible.
The suspect, 32-year-old Thomas Butler, pleaded not guilty in court on Friday when he faced charges of attempted murder.
Only want to say thank you for us, a sponsor, and all my friends coming, and thank you very much.
I reached out to the district attorney's office to see if any of the suspect's charges will be changed now that the victim has died. We haven't heard back yet. He was brutally...
Oh, and by the way, Eli, I've been sick and tired of hearing the rhetoric on both sides, the violence on both sides. There is no both sides. If there was both sides, there'd only be one side. The other side would be dead within a week. The reason why there's not both sides of violence is because the right side actually has restraint, respect for the rule of law, and goes to work to pay taxes, so you broke-ass, lame-ass, fake American-ass Democrats can get government subsidies to go out there and do stupid shit like this. If there was a both sides violence story here, the left would be dead within a week. Period. If it really came down to it, and you had two sides ready to go at it, the left would be dead in a week. The only thing they have protecting them is the very police they want to defund. If there were no police out there, when all these idiots started to try to shut down ICE facilities and stuff like that, the right would come in and make them part of the street. They would fill the potholes in with the dead bodies and the bones of Democrat assholes. The last thing in the world you want is violence from both sides. It's bad enough to get violent from one side, the coward side. R.I.P. to that Army veteran, Kerry Sharon, a war veteran, a true American hero, as posted by this Instagram account here. Let's go ahead and play that video.
Neighbor here in Escondido, 69-year-old Kerry Sharon, who's an Army veteran who served in the war and fought for our freedom in this country. He flies the American flag around his house because he's proud to live in this country and wants to show support for our freedom. He was brutally attacked and unfortunately passed away on this Memorial Day. No matter what your political beliefs are, you should not have this much hatred in your heart or towards any fellow neighbor. On this Memorial Day, you'll especially be remembered, and we appreciate what you did for our country. My condolences go out to the family and friends, and thank you for your service.
Yep. Another lefty scumbag. Another lefty scumbag. Another coward leftist. Killing people they don't agree with. Sooner or later, there will be a both sides of things, you know. People can only put up with so much. Sooner or later, by the way, I want to go over to YouTube real quick because I saw some Mexicans and some illegals over there bumping their gums. I want to let you know, Carlos, escúchame. Sooner or later, there will be two sides of things. And you guys won't have a chance to post things on social media. You know those social media accounts that pass on to family members because there's nobody to operate them anymore? Those will be your social media accounts. Sooner or later. Somebody in the live chat over on YouTube said if there was violence from the right, the left would not even be a memory. You wouldn't be. You'd be a fart in the wind. Remember that. You're alive because we allow it. You're alive because we respect the rule of law. You're alive because we try to hold restraint. And we do. But sooner or later, just like that border got shut down, so will your ability to be able to fight in the streets. And for you illegals that are here, like the illegal alien in the chat there, we're coming for you. Don't worry. You'll be typing on YouTube from another country here shortly. You might want to use that CBP app and get your money and bounce now. That way you can come back legally. You scumbag, worthless, tit-sucking scumbag loser. How does it feel to know that Americans pay for the very life and supply the very country that you live in that you ran to? And by the way, why'd you run from your great country? Maybe because it sucks? Just curious. U.S. Attorney Bill Issel exposes shocking leftist plot to give illegal aliens taxpayer-funded houses to replace the fleeing citizens from their shithole states like California. Oh, by the way, there's thousands. Eli, you know that thing that we talked about a couple weeks ago about illegal aliens? American citizens acting like illegal aliens, going to California and voting since they're not allowed to ask for ID? Apparently that turned into a real thing. Apparently thousands and thousands of people are actively and already have went to California and voted and said, you want no ID? You want to make sure that you verify and validate nobody? You want the wild, wild west of voting? So be it. And I personally know people who have done it.
Absolutely excellent. Damn Skippy. That's fighting fire with fire. And I give it about 5 or 10 more minutes until the scumbag dipshit Democrats say, okay, well, wait a minute. Maybe it's okay to start IDing people.
Yeah, they never will. They're too stupid. Former California Assemblyman and current top federal prosecutor Bill Issel just ripped the mask off Sacramento's radical open borders agenda during an interview with Prager. The son of lawful immigrants who did everything by the book is calling out the left's deliberate refusal to say the word illegal because they don't want to distinguish between those who follow the rules and the flood of lawbreakers that they're actively importing to prop up their power. Issel, who parents immigrated here legally, took the citizenship test and built a life the right way. Didn't hold back in recent remarks that perfectly capture the rage of millions of Americans tired of being second-class citizens in their own country. Eli, I'm going to go off on a little weave here. My son right now is taking citizenship test in school for his civics class. Okay? I saw the test. I can guarantee you 90% of people who run for office could not pass it. I can guarantee you. I took it. I didn't get enough wrong to fail, but I got plenty wrong where I was like, I shouldn't have got that wrong. Right? Now, there's easy questions like, what are the 3 different branches of government? Which branch does the judicial, who oversees the judicial branch? Who oversees the executive branch? How many senators come from each state? How many representatives come from each state? All these different, I would say easy questions. But then they get into what amendment allows you to do this? What amendment in the Bill of Rights allows you to do that? I would bet you right now, after seeing that citizenship test, 90% of Elected officials could not pass that test, and I bet over 90% of Americans couldn't pass that test. And no illegal alien could pass it because they didn't assimilate properly. They didn't go through the proper channels of assimilation and immigration. They came here illegally and hence offer no progress to our nation whatsoever. The days of bring me your tired and poor are over. Those immigrants who came in Ellis Island, they came to create a better life for themselves, to actually work and do something, not to come and suck off the tit of the American taxpayer like these lazy third world shithole scumbags do today. There's a big difference. And I'm sick and tired of it. They always say the immigrant community, and this is Bill Eisel talking, and I just find that particularly offensive, especially for people like my parents who did it the right way. They came here, they took the citizenship exam, and I remember my mom studying the test and learning about the branches of government and everything. They never wanted to distinguish between legal or illegal immigrants. And I find what these people are doing particularly offensive. He continued to talk about how now California, Bill 1840, California Assembly Bill 1840, legislation passed by the Democrat-controlled legislature in 2024 that would have expanded eligibility for California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program to undocumented immigrants. The good thing about this is that President Trump already came in and signed an executive order saying that banks cannot lend illegal aliens money. And they can't keep checking accounts. And they can't keep saving accounts. You want to keep it? Keep it under your pillow. Have a nice siesta. Adios. Immigrants today are lazy, worthless pieces of shit. Immigrants during the Ellis Island time were hardworking people, and we loved them. Spiritually, we can love them. Spiritually, we can pray for them. In this earth, today, illegal aliens are the most lazy, worthless, non-loyal, non-dedicated pieces of shit on planet Earth. And it's time to start saying it loud. Eli?
I was just looking at the YouTube chat over there. Carlos says, "You are racist." I think he's feeling personally attacked.
Hey, Carlos. If the shoe fits. Eli, isn't Spanish shoes zapatos? If the zapatos fits, wear that mother... You know what I mean? Now, before we go on to the insurrection by Democrats' definition that happened this weekend, let's talk about done with debt. Like we're done with illegals, Americans are done with debt, right? And the more illegals we have here, the more debt we go into. Now, I don't know if done with debt can clear a path to financial freedom from illegal debt that we've been put into by subsidizing these losers. But if you, as an American citizen, have high-interest credit card bills that you had to rack up because Democrats stole the election, or if you have personal loans that you had to take out because Democrats released COVID-19 and destroyed the world and told you to stay home, 15 minutes to slow the spread, all that crap, right? Then you can call Done with Debt today, 888-322-1054. That's 888-322-1054. Your journey to financial freedom starts here. They can help you. They can cut your debt time in half and get you onto actually saving that money instead of giving it away to banks and people who come here to take it from you. Not anymore. Speak to a trained debt professional today. donewithdebt.com. Eli, did you see the insurrection that happened in New Jersey this weekend? Remember Queen Kong, LaMonica MacGyver? Remember she climbed the Empire State Building, fought off some planes, and then went to the detention center to try to release the illegals? Well, they were back. She was back. And they literally barricaded the ICE officers into the Delaney Detention Center and would not let them leave.
That doesn't sound legal.
Sounds a little insurrection-y to me, or at least by their account. Here is Queen Kong back at the detention center. Still, ladies and gentlemen, out on bail from her criminal activity.
Holding people hostage in facilities like this months after months after months after they have literally volunteered to be deported back to their country. Why is that? Ask yourselves. Why? Because it's about money. It's about greed. It's about this president constantly breaking the law and getting his friends and buddies rich and rich and rich. This is a billion-dollar industry. He is holding people hostage in facilities like this months after months after months after they have...
Month after month after month after they have... By the way, if there's any illegal aliens watching over on YouTube, be strong, be proud, brown pride, right? Most likely you're from South America or you're from Africa. You might be from Southeast Asia as well, but be proud. Tell us where you live. Don't be scared. Tell us where you live. Tell us where we can come and get it. Vámonos. Vámonos, aquí. Tell us where we can come get it. Tell us where President Trump can come and kiss your ass. How about that? This page says, breaking, New Jersey community blocks all exits of Delaney Hall ICE Center to stop the transport of detained hunger strikers. You know, Eli, in prison, they do these things called hunger strikes. You ever heard of these things before?
Oh, yeah. They're stupid as shit, but yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, let them die. Kurt says you Israeli puppeteers got exposed. Cry about it. I don't cry about winning. And I don't cry about winning elections. And I also don't cry about collecting those $7,000 checks, Eli. You know what I'm saying? I don't cry about that. And if I do, I wipe my tears with my Israeli Jew money.
L'chaim. I mean, damn Skippy.
L'chaim. Wipe your tears with that Jew money, Eli. I hear it's $7,000 per Israeli positive post. Go, Israel! Israel's great. Kiss the wall. Wear the beanie on top of your head. It's a good fashion statement. From the river to the sea, Jews shall be free. Eli, I just racked up like 50 G's right there. Run that. Run that, BB. I need that.
Netanyahu. Who?
Yeah. I'm going to check my Netanyahu worth over here.
I just don't understand it, dude. With how many times we should have been paid by now, we'd be off air and we'd both be retired.
Eli, that money just keeps coming in. That Jew money, good, bruh. Do you know what I mean? Come on. Hey, I would take all of Israel to live here over any illegal alien. How about that? Can I say that? Is that okay? Can I get money for that one?
Are you kidding? You got paid for that and they gave you a bonus.
Amen. Amen.
This is a waste of your time, a waste of taxpayer dollars. Who are you defending again? Your family is ashamed. Who are you defending again? Your community is ashamed of you. We are peaceful citizens. What are you doing? Why don't you join the army or something? Why don't you do something?
Hold on. We are peaceful citizens, Eli. Why don't you do something with your life? She screams at the ICE and border agent. Why don't you join the army or something and do something with your life as she stands there with a bullhorn like a retard talking about somebody who's got a very good job, great pension, doing something with their life. May not be what she likes, but something. Meanwhile, she's in the doing nothing with her life while screaming about doing something with your life.
Screaming at people who are currently on the clock in that moment, getting paid.
Unbelievable. Rad Monsoon over there on YouTube By the way, I love the word rad. It's been a long time since we've said that here in America. But it says, too bad Trump is owned by the Jews. So are we. So are we. You didn't know? You didn't know? BB's the man, ain't he? I mean, he's giving us $7,000 every time I say the guy's good. You're good, BB, you're good. Man, Eli, I'm about ready to retire. One show. One show. Now, even though BB's pretty pissed off about this whole Abrahamic Accord deal that President Trump is doing, and President Trump basically told him to shut up, too bad, you're going to get on board or you're going to be on by yourself. And, you know, considering coming off of just last week when they said that we are going to start reducing the amount of money that goes to all countries, including Israel. Yeah, so owned. A lot of you guys need to play like Hines and catch up. You're way behind. You're like 3 weeks behind in the news. Here's a leftist rioter digging up cinder blocks to make his own wall. To make his own wall. Guess he wants to build a wall, 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet tall. Looks like he wants to build the wall, Eli. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it amazing that that's allowed? That you can just do this as a Democrat. Build a wall, 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet tall. You can just do this as a Democrat. But again, if it wasn't for the cops that you dumbass illegal aliens and Democrats wanted to fund, you wouldn't be able to do this. See, the cops are the only reason that you can do this. The people you're protesting. They're protecting you. Otherwise, people like myself and Eli would be giving you a facial on the pavement. It's called a pavement facial. See, what you do is you grab the head of a Democrat or an illegal alien. They're all weak. It doesn't matter. You grab them by the head and, oh, Dios mío, or help me, please, that I wanted to fund, whichever they're saying. And then you push their face down to the ground, like Sam Kinison would say, come here, look at this here. And then you just scrape their face on the pavement. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that there's gravel on that pavement. Because, Eli, if there's gravel on that pavement, then you can cause the harm to them that they've caused to this country. But if there's not gravel on the pavement, a good old hot asphalt sitting out in the sun all day, that would give them a nice third-degree burn. Either way, it's a free pavement facial. And if it wasn't for the cops that they're protesting against and defunding, that's what would happen to them. They'd be walking around like Harvey Dent.
Carlos says, there is no substance on this weak-ass racist platform. You're still watching, though, aren't you?
Mira mi programa. You're watching, though, ain't you? Must be some kind of substance. Actually, pretty much you're right, though. The substance that we're talking about right now is just straight-up bigotry. Straight-up bigotry. Nothing new. There's bigotry against illegal aliens. Can we say that? I think that's okay, right? I'm a bigot, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like illegal aliens destroying our country and sucking up the tea to the American taxpayer. Now, if those same people walked out this door and came back in the legal door, I'd shake their hand and I'd say, welcome, American brother or American sister. But since they refuse to do that, they're lazy pieces of third world shit.
I don't know if she didn't want to or they just let her. I don't think they let her.
They're just allowed to do this. Eli, they called January 6th an insurrection. Actually, they called it an erection many times by accident, but they called it an insurrection. What these high school dipshit dropouts are doing is building a wall of garbage around the ICE detainment facility like it was going to stop the transfer of hunger strike illegal aliens in the facility that are not eating as a form of protest so that they can get their way. Let them die. Let them freaking die. We are offering the food. If they don't eat the food, that's not our fault. Let them just die. Trust me. Their instincts will kick in and they will eat piles of dog excrement before they actually die. For those idiots out there doing hunger strikes, give them what they want. Okay? Eli, the Zinn Krufer said for the last 25,000 years, or it's not even that old, but anyway, the indigenous of the Americas are brown people. That's a fact. So tell me what happened to Mexico then. Tell me what happened to Mexico. You always call Europeans colonizers. And you say that Europeans stole the land, of which I'm quarter Cherokee, by the way. My people got decimated and eradicated because they lost. Okay? My other people came in and won. How come you never talk about Spain taking over Mexico? How come you don't talk about that? Spain colonized Mexico, took it over, killed all the indigenous people or bred with them and made them, something other. How come you don't talk about that? Eli, there's another comment. Jeremy is so mad. MAGA is so mad. They can't come on and debate. They have no debate substance. They have no receipts. They just say shit. Again, what about Spain? Did they not colonize Mexico?
Mm-hmm. By the way, do just a hair of a little bit of research, and you'll see that the Viking culture was actually first to colonize the Americas before whoever you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't want to, not them. Don't want to talk about them, though. You see, in order for us to be mad, we'd actually have to debate somebody who actually made us eat our words. Not our... And since you eat our... Well, there's enough eating going on for everyone, isn't there?
Abolish!
Yeah. Tell me what adult would ever look at that and say, this is proper behavior. This is proper behavior. And Eli, do you know that MAGA, which would be us, because we believe in making America great again, right? And that's including for the black people who actually had intact families, homes, life, hope, and jobs in the 50s and 60s. Remember that? Ask any older black man or older black woman about the 1950s. Were there issues? Absolutely. Were Democrats more racist than ever? Absolutely. Were Republicans, just like during Abraham Lincoln's day, trying to stop racism and slavery? Absolutely. But if you ask any black man who's over 60 years old, he'll tell you that black families were more intact and had more hope and more optimistic outlook on their ownership in America then than they do today. So yeah, make America great again. Then came Margaret Sanger, who said, let's eradicate this black population. Killed off all the black babies. And then the Democrats and the Republicans worked together behind closed doors to give you crack. Got you addicted to that. I believe it was one of your Democrats that said, I'll have these N-words voting for generations. And Eli, MAGA, the Make America Great Again podcasters like myself and others, we're the only ones that can literally keep an audience that hates us watching for 3 hours.
I will never understand that. Thank you guys for the views, but I don't go out of my way to watch something for even 5 minutes, let alone 3 hours in support. You're giving us a view. It's helping us. Algorithm. Thanks. Gracias.
When you realize that Malcolm X actually had his finger on the pulse of America more than Martin Luther King did, then you really see how screwed up things are. Somebody in the chat said, back then black families hated the idea of welfare. Today, it's a whole different story. White families hated the idea of welfare back then too. Today, whole different story. Nothing but a bunch of anti-American, America-hating, scumbag, lazy losers who watch conservative programming because they've got nothing better to do in their hateful lives.
That's illegal in New Jersey.
Why don't you get the agents to walk away and then we'll move on the way?
Every one of these people should be arrested immediately. Arrest them immediately. Taser each one of these people that are sitting with their masks on. By the way, what year is it? Eli, look at this. Look at these. Look at all these people with masks on and shit. Like, what year is it? I understand the, ICE agents and stuff being masked up for doxing reasons, but these people, they're masked up because of like COVID and the next flu strain that they're afraid of. But taser each one of these people, put them in prison. Don't let them out.
Well, they're also so proud of what they're doing and they feel like they're in the right. However, the masks are also so that they can't be identified in case they get in trouble later. And you know what really irritates me about these fat, disgusting, white liberal women who you can smell through the TV screen is they scream and they yell and they throw things at these guys and they push them. And then, law enforcement does what law enforcement gonna do and arrest them and they start squealing, "What the F is wrong with you? Is this what you do to people?" Yeah, when you break the law.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Somebody in the YouTube chat said Republicans have $143 million in the coffers. Democrats have -3. Isn't it weird that after USAID went away, all of a sudden the Democrats are broke? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird that since you put a magnifying glass on Act Blue, all of a sudden the Democrats are broke? Isn't that weird? That's just so weird. Isn't it weird that after the EPA got a new administrator and after the Department of Education got a new secretary, Democrats don't have any money? Isn't that weird? Hey, Kurt, retard, what are you going to say when gas is down to $2 again? Seriously, I'm serious. Let's do a hypothetical here. If gas gets down in the $2 and $3 range, what are you going to say then? What are you going to say then? Because I remember when your bitch ass was crying about eggs. Remember that? Oh, eggs. Do you jump on now and say, this stupid gas, glad about those eggs, but how's that gas price, Trump? But wait, I thought presidents didn't control the price of gas. You know what's weird? In California, gas at Chevron is $6.60 a gallon. But isn't it weird that it's $3.38 in Louisiana? Same gas, same station. Isn't that weird? Almost like dumbass Democrat policies end up costing people more money. Isn't that weird? But, okay, Aztec, big if, right? In capital letters. Are you going to come back and are you going to say, I'm sorry, you were right and I was wrong? That's all I ever want to see. That's all I want to ever see. I know, hey, David, it's called English. Listen, okay, bud? I didn't say gas was at $2. I said when or if, hypothetically, gas gets down in between $2 and $3, are you going to come back and are you going to say you were sorry that I was right and you were wrong? Kurt says, cousin fuckers. Actually, those are Somalis. Those are inbred Somalis. Okay? Those are your inbred Ilhan Omars that do that. And by the way, they don't even wait for their cousins. They have their brothers and sisters. So the Democrats over on YouTube said, if it gets down that low, they still won't apologize, Eli. Of course they won't, because you have no substance to your argument. But let's stay on task here. All these people that are causing what you call an insurrection, should they be put in prison? Or should they not? Now because they're on the other side. Anything? Can we at least get the Democrats in the YouTube channel? Can we at least find a base of commonality here? Do you think the people that are surrounding the ICE facility and blocking it and fighting with ICE agents who are federal officers, whether you like them or not, should they be imprisoned for what they've done? Yes or no? Anyone? Another one bites McGrone said yes, but I'm waiting for, these other people. J6 should be in prison. Cool. They did. They were in prison for years. They're not now, but they were. Do you think that these people outside the Delaney detention facility should see the inside of a jail cell? Yes or no? Dave, Aztec, Rick, any of you. If they break the law. Well, they did. They did. They did nothing but that while they were there. Fighting cops, blocking an official federal proceeding from happening. Yeah, they did break the law. Yes, they're not protesting, they're rioting. Protesting is different. Protesting is legal. Fighting with the police and trying to block their movement? Terencio says no. Okay. There you go, folks. They should not. The other ones won't answer. They'll just say, what about the J6 rioters if they were pardoned? Well, they did time. They did 4 years. But that's not the question. The question is, if you believe the J6ers should be in jail, then you should definitely believe these people should be in jail, right? Aztec, yes, that's breaking the law. See that? Look at that. How hard is it to find some commonality here? I believe you think that you love this country. You believe I think I love this country. Rick says for surrounding the ICE officers, no. Well, then you are retarded because they're breaking the law. You cannot stop an official officer from movement, from doing their job. You can't do that. Can't do that. Unbelievable how anybody could say that they shouldn't be in jail.
Holy shit. What the fuck? Let's go.
Sit down.
We don't want ICE here! Holy shit! What the fuck? Let's go!
Sit down.
We don't want ICE here! Holy shit!
So, when you barricade with physical barriers, including your bodies, you are breaking federal law. Absolutely. When the police have to come out, physically remove you, physically remove barriers, fight with you, pepper spray back and forth, yes, that is breaking the law. Now, if you want to go and talk about the J6ers, let's talk about it. But we're going to have to find some common ground of fact here. The fact is, nobody at January 6th did anything physical or any kind of breaking into any Capitol until, and the video proves it, all videos prove it, until police officers started shooting tear gas and pepper spray, paintball guns, and everything else into the crowd. Nobody was doing anything. Was there heated screaming back and forth? Absolutely. But nobody broke in any barriers. Once shots start getting fired, everybody starts doing anything that anybody would do. But here's what happened. And we all know this. Police opened up barricades and let them in and didn't try to stop them. You got to ask yourself why. Now, if they were just saying, okay, do what you do, you'll get arrested if you go. Okay, but that still doesn't mean they were doing their damn job. And then the magnetic door that cannot be opened from the outside unless you've got a freaking jet with a missile on it was unlocked. The magnetic door was unlocked from inside. That's what the report reads. And then you have the constant refusal of the National Guard from Nancy Pelosi. So can we at least admit that there was a massive breakdown in law enforcement on that day? And that shit got out of hand? If you can at least agree with that, then you can say, all right, maybe some people deserve to be in jail, maybe some people didn't. But what about the FBI agents that were in the crowd that were also breaking the law? Should they be in jail? Should the DC police, the Metro police that were involved, should they be in jail? You're literally talking about two different things. You're talking about surrounding and not allowing officials to go in and out before any officer fires any gun or shoots any bullets or any pepper spray flies. No, not mine, David. The official federal report, the Howard's report, the report that came from the House of Representatives, from the Oversight Committee. No, not my report. But again, this is you just being mad at the facts. Don't be mad at the facts. Find common ground with us if we all love America, and let's figure out a way to say who's lying and who's not. Because this, according to Democrats who said J6 was an insurrection, this is an insurrection.
Get back! Get back! Get back! Hey! You gotta get down! You gotta get down!
Eli, I can see today how many people still do not know about what happened on January 6th. This guy Rick in there says they stormed the Capitol and broke down the door. If you don't even know that that's not true, then how are you going to argue anything about January 6th? I was there. I had the FBI come to my house. Were you there? Did you see what happened there? Did you see anything prior to or during it? Because that door to the Capitol building was magnetically unlocked. That has already been admitted. Everybody knows it. The people who unlocked it admitted it. The magnetic door was unlocked from the inside. That door couldn't be broke down. Now, were windows being broke? Absolutely. Come to find out, those windows that were being broke, majority of those people that were doing it were FBI undercovers and Antifa agents. So, yes, were there January 6ers that were right along with him? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if that was an insurrection, then this one is. And if you don't even know that there was a magnetic door that was unlocked, then you can't argue anything. Because that everyone should know. Eli.
Another thing that irritates the hell right out of me is when we've shown the footage, of
millions of
being
times
let in, the Capitol Police moving the gates, and then people on the inside of the Capitol peacefully walking through the rope days. Well, you guys cherry pick that footage. Even if that's true, and you guys think it was the most violent, bloody day in history, worse than the Revolutionary, Civil War, World War II, any war ever, why would there have been any moments of peace like that?
Yes.
Ask yourself.
Yeah.
Think. Question everything.
Yeah, if you see these people who broke in, all of a sudden you see footage of cops walking with them, unhandcuffing them, and then talking to them about how to identify other FBI agents and other friendlies in the crowd. I mean, we've played them for years and years and years. And now, you know what they're saying now, Eli? Play them now, as if I have them queued up to play for them now. But you can ask the audience. They've been here. They've seen it for years. Unbelievable.
We're still here at Delaney Hall. They have announced that they are trying to move the prisoners who participated in the hunger strike, and the prisoners have had a demand from the beginning, which is everyone with medical conditions should be immediately released. We have, stayed here. There are a bunch of ICE officers that are here that are armed. They've been escalating tactics with the protesters. They picked me up, they threw me to the side, they pushed us back several times. ICE is clearly here to cause chaos, and we are here to stand in solidarity with the people who are inside. We're on this hunger strike, and we are demanding that the people with medical conditions be released, that the people who participated in the hunger strike are not unfairly retaliated against. They are trying to take them and deport them out of here. They're trying to transfer them. We're still trying to get more information, but we are here with the people here at Delaney Hall. So we're still here at Delaney Hall.
Again, why are you trying to move them at all? Why are you trying to move them from one facility to another? Let them starve to death. Who cares? We stop paying for them. They die of their own volition. Who really cares? While trying to de-escalate the situation outside Delaney Hall, the executive director, Ben Drozbeck, was pepper sprayed, and this was an executive director of this this group that was trying to cause peace or bring peace to the two groups, I guess. You know how you bring peace? Stop breaking the damn law. Stop acting like, ooh, like you care. You don't know a single name of a person in that illegal alien detention center. I'll bet you if you walked around, Eli, and asked each one of those dipshit, no-job-having scumbags, name one person in this facility. They wouldn't be able to name one name. Just like the people that scream, you're sending our sons and daughters off to... Who? Who? Name one name. Well, Then you don't care.
I'm right here with you. I'm right here. There's more water. Ben.
All right, look up a little bit more. Turn your head back. All right, I'm gonna bring it down a bit. Okay.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
What are you
Governor
doing
Sherrill, $30 million is a drop in the bucket for legal services. We are demanding that now. Okay, I gotta go. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, lefties over on YouTube, do you think that Nick Fuentes and Ray Epps should be in prison for inciting the January 6th riot? I think they should be. They were actually saying, storm the Capitol, drag them out. While your president at the time said, peacefully and patriotically, go let your voice be heard. Governor Sherrill decided to show up for a publicity.
Sherrill telling us she has been denied access to the Delaney Hall Immigration Detention Center after attempting to make her first visit as governor. We're on the scene here at Delaney Hall. The governor arrived here around 10:30 this morning. She has since left but spent her time here on the scene outside the gates talking to family members of those that are detained inside. The governor says she's been trying to get into the facility for days now. And as for the broader context here, since Friday, protesters have been outside amid a reported hunger and labor strike inside, expressing concern for detainees' health, living conditions, and warning of potential fatal consequences. There have been several arrests made here as a result. Now, it's important to note that Sherrill is a state official, so she does not necessarily have the right to go in, but the state's federal delegation does. Senator Andy Kim and Representative Bob Menendez visited twice this weekend and are still here now, along with several other officials, but Menendez says he's been out here all night and has still been denied entry today. Now, activists are telling us that those on the inside on that hunger and labor strike aren't going to stop until they're able to speak directly with the governor. Of course, still a very active situation out here. We'll continue to keep you updated. Governor Mikey Sherrill.
Oh, we're not going to stop until we see the governor. Okay, starve and die, you dipshit illegal alien. Then starve and die. Oh, we want to see the governor. We're going to starve ourselves until we get to see the governor. So that means your living conditions really aren't that bad because you're offered food. You have a roof over your head, and you are able and well enough and free enough to demand to see the governor of the state? Eli, if I went to go see the governor of the state, whether it be Kim Reynolds or whether it be Governor Mickey Sherrill, and I said, I demand to see the governor, there's a 0% chance that I can see the governor. And I'm a legal American citizen. But illegals inside a detention center say that their rights are being trampled on so much that they're going to refuse food until they get a meeting with the governor and she comes. They have more power than we do.
Yeah, seems like it. Screw it. Don't feed them then.
That's what I said. If anybody's stupid enough to do a hunger strike, then they commit suicide. And like I said, they will eat their own excrement before they die from starvation. At the beck and call of illegal aliens, Governor Mickey Sherrill shows up for a publicity stunt. When I was a kid growing up, they said that people in jail ate bread and water. That's what I remember. Feed them bread and water. And I would even go as far as to say, now I'm going to punish every other illegal alien in here because of you. They're all going to hate you now. Now everybody only gets bread and water. Hey, we have a law to feed you food daily. So give them, I think by law you're supposed to give them a nutrition balanced meal. So give them a couple pieces of fruit, a couple vegetables, bread and water. There you go. I want to go on a hunger strike until I get rights. You don't get rights. You came here illegally. You get none. Your due process is us not putting a bullet in your head for crossing our border illegally. That's your due process. Senator Kim of New Jersey came to try to cause some peace, try some peace to the situation. Although, again, you don't have to do anything on the Fed side to bring peace. They're not actively out there beating these people, or else they wouldn't be there. If the Feds were primarily, their job was to just beat protesters, the protesters would be beat down and run away. So we know that the unrest is coming only from the left. So you should talk to your own side.
Got out from Delaney Hall. I was in there with Congressman Menendez. We went in because we heard of the complaints, the people protesting, hundreds of them talking about the inhumane treatment that they're getting. We talked with dozens, if not 100 or more of the detainees. Often they were talking about the poor food that they're getting, really disgusting food, that they're not getting the medical treatment that they need and deserve. I talked with a pregnant woman that was not getting the care that she needed. I talked with an 18-year-old high school senior who should be at a school, not in this facility there. This place needs to shut down, and these people need to be able to get out, be back with their families.
Too bad it's not going to happen.
They are not even being given
you're wasting time.
The time in court.
Good.
If this administration is so convinced that these are people that are dangerous, give them time in court.
Nope.
I mean, this is a farce of a situation. It is not reflective of our Constitution, of our laws, of how people, anybody...
Actually, it's reflective of our Constitution to put these people down like rabid dogs. Because if George Washington was still alive right now, what's that shirt say? His homies would be stacking bodies right now.
This country should be treated. So that is why I was here with Congressman Menendez. We're going to continue to fight for their rights, fight for their treatment, and make sure that we can do everything we can to restore our country's rule of law and our belief in our values in immigration.
Okay, so then you support the Iranian conflict then? Because if this is a humanitarian thing here, if this is how of a decent country we are, that we got to make sure that people that aren't Americans get decent treatment and we stick up for those people, then you should be the first one voting for President Donald J. Trump to continue to do whatever he's got to do in Iran. If that's what you're talking about here, Senator Kim, is that what you're talking about? It's like the people. It's like those protesters that I came up on here in my town a couple weeks ago that said elevate humanity. I said I agree. Like getting rid of people who want to kill women and children, who do kill women and children, who traffic them, who sleep with the boys of the society, who throw gay people out buildings, who burn gay people alive just for being gay. You mean like ridding the world of those people? Lefties would side with the Iranian regime over President Trump. They are. That's why you see Anna Kasparian crashing out daily. They don't want to elevate humanity. They don't want to stop atrocities around the world. They don't want to do that. They want to stop Trump. Period. If you asked your everyday average lefty, if you had two choices and you could rub this lamp and you had a wish, would you wish for Donald Trump to be eliminated? Or would you wish for the Ayatollah and the Iranian regime who kills LGBTQ members, women, and children daily to be eliminated? They would say Trump. They would say Trump. And then if you ask them, okay, let's say this. We'll get rid of Trump, but these people have to continue to rape women and children, traffic them, use them as human shields, and not accept gay people, but we got to get rid of Trump. Are you okay with that? They would say, yep, 100%. Because their hatred of this president goes beyond common sense. They hate his guts. So, Senator Kim got tear gassed, right along with the rest of the idiots.
I understand, but he's a senator. Respectfully.
Respectfully, still. You got the pictures over there. This is his picture. All right. You guys went over your eyes. You guys like He's
lucky he's Asian, Eli. He doesn't have as much eyeball to clean out.
Excuse me.
What? I'm not being mean. I'm not being mean. I'm just being real. Like, his eyes are, you know, a little bit more closed than, like ours, we'd have the whole eyeball, right? Round eye. He had a little bit of protective shade there. Good on him.
I'm going to sound like the kids now when I say, that's for real, for real.
So then the left turns on him because he takes money from Israel.
So why did you tell us to move out of the way to allow the ICE criminals to kidnap the strikers and move them to other parts of the gulag system? We were the ones blocking them from doing that. Why did you scab for ICE?
Look, I was in there. I was there and where the transfer section is. I did not see, just 20 minutes ago, movements of people. I did not think and that there were.
You didn't think?
I understand what you're trying to do.
Kim, how can we trust you to make the right call about ICE when you take thousands and thousands of dollars from AIPAC that funds the same surveillance systems that ICE is using?
I really don't. But look, I get it.
You really
can be
don't
unhappy.
You told us
unhappy.
because you were going to get in there if we moved out. And they used that to crush this strike.
The deal was for me and another person to be able
What
to
side
do
are
that.
you on? What side are you on?
I understand that you're unhappy.
You're on the wrong side of this struggle. You're on the wrong side of the genocide in Gaza. Where do you stand?
Senator Andy Kim, will you call for abolishing ICE? ICE just brutalized a U.S. citizen who you're standing next to right now. Will you call for a full abolishment of ICE? Senator Andy Kim, that woman was tear gassed. You're standing next to her as she's washing her eyes because she was tear gassed. Do you have anything to say about ICE? Will you call for an abolishment of ICE? Senator Andy Kim, you cannot come out here and cosplay community member when you are a key player in making sure this detention center stays open.
So why did you tell us to move?
See that? They hate Israel and Trump more than anything. If you are in any way a Trump supporter or feel that Israel has the right to exist and to fight off disgusting, stinky, third world shithole Islamists, then you're a bad dude, like Corn Pop. And you should be taken out. That is what the left believes. They don't care. You could say, look, I love killing babies. I'm all for open borders. But if you take money from AIPAC, now all of a sudden they don't care about the you getting pepper sprayed. Hey, Eli, do you want to hear something really cool? Check this out. Remember how the retard right? Remember how they were complaining about how President Trump is too pro H-1B visa? And President Trump is going to let all the H-1Bs in. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was losing her mind and flipping out and beating on a rock like a Cro-Magnon caveman. Remember that? H-1B visa applications crashed nearly 40% after President Trump reformed it. Hey, Alex Jones, what are you going to say about that now? Hey, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, what do you have to say about the H-1Bs now? I thought for sure that Trump was going to be the king of H-1Bs, that he was reviving the program and he was going to take it to heights never seen before. But here we have a dramatic collapse in H-1B visa applications ever since Trump did reform. I guess you were wrong and we were right once again. Eli, I got to tell you, it's hard being right all the time about politics. It really is. Especially when we are beating the brakes off the Democrats over on YouTube. It is very difficult to be correct every single time.
You're so mad right now, you maggot.
You're so mad? According to the reports, new data from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services shows a 38.5% drop in submitted H-1B registrations for the 2027 fiscal year. Well, how about that? Applications fell from 343,981 to 211,600 in a single year. The sharpest decline ever marks the most significant resets in the program's history. Well, how about that? How about that? Alex Jones, wrong. Tucker Carlson, wrong. Candace Owens, wrong. Biggest decline in H-1B visa history since the start of the program. I guess we were right again. Illegal Alien says, but you are losing. Really? All right, let's check here. Let's see, Illegal Alien. Your name is Illegal Alien. Okay? LFA TV is currently number 6 in the world on the live leaderboard on Rumble. We won the popular vote, which means the majority of America believes what I believe. We won the Electoral College vote. We won the most counties ever recorded by a United States president, election winning, whatever. And Trump's not in jail. You didn't kill him 4 times. And he just went 37-0 on his endorsements, getting rid of more rhinos out of our party to beat more dumbass Democrats in November and in 2028. Tell me again, how are we losing? Oh, Trump's approval rating, 34%. What's the Democrats' approval rating in Congress right now? 20. You can't call somebody a midget when they're a foot taller than you. See how stupid that sounds? Every which way you cut it, we win, you lose. Every which way we cut it. How's the stock market doing? Isn't that an all-time high? Aren't people's 401ks an all-time high? Well, winning again. Just can't lose.
And yet another prime example of us winning, even aside from politics, is that you're still here. You've been here the whole show, bro.
Yeah. You know what's even best, Eli? Is when somebody like Rainbow says, you're hateful and racist with a Y-O-U-R. Look, and I just keep responding with the proper way to use grammar, okay? If you cannot speak proper grammar, what makes you think that you will ever be right about politics? If you don't even know the difference between your, and your, how can I take you seriously on anything that you say in the chat? You're just another bot to me. And a dumb one at that. You guys, you do have Google right next to you, right? You do have access to asking it questions. Am I acting like a retard or not if I say it this way? It's really not that difficult. Its page says, we stand with Ukraine. Oh, you're really going to hate the story that I have coming up in a few then. But breaking news, Eli, H-1B visas drop almost 40%. Meanwhile, you got this dipshit, Hakeem Jeffries.
That taxpayer dollars in this country should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not subsidize corruption of Donald Trump and his cartel. That taxpayer dollars should be used to make the lives of everyday Americans more comfortable, more affordable, give them the ability to experience a middle-class life and beyond.
That he doesn't have.
And that taxpayer dollars under no circumstances, which is one of the major problems with this reckless Republican budget, taxpayer dollars under no circumstances should be used to brutalize or kill American citizens or violently target law-abiding immigrant families. That's unpatriotic, unacceptable, and it's un-American. We believe that taxpayer dollars
should be, you know why they mad? You know why they, Eli, speaking of big mad, when you are negative $3 million and the Republicans have 143, you are F-U-C-K'd in the butt. You don't have a chance. You don't have a fireball's chance in hell, let alone a snowball's chance in hell. Donald Trump is going to win the midterms. The House of Representatives will stay ours. Hakeem Jeffries will be removed as minority leader because Democrats will have no confidence in him. We will regain the Senate, and we will continue to legislate, win, take things to the Supreme Court, and win. And pretty soon, Eli, when birthright citizenship comes down and the Supreme Court says, you're not just an American just because you're born here. Then sugar honey iced tea is really going to hit the fan. Then you're really going to see the lefties freak out. Because now they've not only lost all their money through USAID and all the other places, now they're going to lose their future voters. And if the Save America Act passes, a Democrat will never win an election ever again.
Absolutely can't wait until we enact that one. I wish, again, I'm going to say it again, I wish Trump would have been a day one dictator and found some way to say, no, sweetie baby boy. Just because you were born here, you are not a citizen. Ship him out.
Well, he did executive order a lot of that stuff. And he has been fighting these idiots for the last year and a half and winning. By the way, how many Supreme Court decisions have we won? How many federal cases have we won? How many states have ours allowed to redistrict, but none of yours? It's so great. I love it. I love it. Here's a fed-up taxpayer in Cape Cod, actually, going off on the local city council there for prioritizing illegal aliens over Americans. Let's get to this.
And would you please tell us your name and what community you're from?
Yes, my name is Andrew DeRogers. I'm born and raised on Cape Cod. I appreciate that many people here have different points of view, and that's fine. Many of them are very well spoken. Many of them are polite. I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
I am that taxpayer that several of the people who sat up here and spoke are talking about. What is on the line is very simple. It is a declaration of your allegiance either to the American citizen, the legal tax-paying American citizen, or the chosen community of foreign nationals who have been trafficked into this country for purposes of census data, for purposes of seats, for purposes of power, and for purposes of taxes. I am sick to effing death of paying for such bullshit. And I'm sick to death of being lectured about compassion, about patience and understanding. I have lived here all my life, and I have been required for all 40 years of that life to obey the law and follow the rules. There will be no Social Security check for me when I can't work anymore. I have never once received any of the benefits that have been spoken of here. Nobody is beating down my door to help me fix up my house so that it doesn't collapse on me or lower the cost of the electricity that I have to pay. I don't get health insurance. I can't afford it. But I am punished by this state for not being able to afford it so that people who are in this country illegally can benefit from it and go see the doctor whenever they want.
Absolutely.
And that is a fact, and I am sick of it. I am not an ununderstanding individual. I am not an uncompassionate individual. But my generosity has been abused, and I am sick of it. I am sick of being treated as an indentured servant to foreign nationals in my country and in my community. And I don't give a damn whose feelings that hurts.
Told you it's all coming to a head.
So you can either approve this measure and show legal, law-abiding tax-paying citizens that they do not matter to you, or you can reject it and show them that you are listening. Those are the only two options. And for the record, I traveled abroad to a foreign nation, and you would not believe the amount of documentation I was required to have on me at all times and show whenever anybody asked. And you can bet your ass if I broke their laws, they would have nailed my ass to the wall.
Yep.
And I was very well behaved over there, and I was very respectful to the people because I was a guest in their country. I wasn't due anything. Thank you.
Is that how you feel today? Is that how you feel today? Uncanny Mountain, you are a retarded person and everything you're saying is a lie in the chat, by the way. 70% of farmers are not planting this year. I live in one of the biggest farmed states in the country, and they're all planting. You're a liar. Now, it's okay. By the way, ask the farmers who they love. They're going to tell you Trump. Now, it's okay that you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you're here watching. It's okay. We get it. But don't lie. Don't be a retarded person. Somebody also said that maggots will pay for this. Well, you have to win an election first. And if we win the House and the Senate, how are you going to continue to say that America is rejecting Trump's policies or that Trump is destroying America? How are you going to say that? You have to beat us first. And you're not going to be able to cheat while he's in office again. It's not going to happen. So how are you going to win? Funny how you all said that there's no illegals voting in elections, but yet then you turn around and make an executive order in Virginia to keep ICE away from polling stations. That guy right there is absolutely in the right to feel the way he feels and to say what he says. No more illegal aliens. Now, we know that we've shut the border down and they're not coming in, but we need to get the ones that are here out. They've ruined enough. They have killed enough. Sophie said, Alex Jones is telling everyone on the show that farmers aren't able to plant this year and we're going into a famine. Should I drive 20 miles in any direction in Iowa and ask the farmers if they're not able to plant this year? Because all of their fields are open and getting planted. Every single one of them. Every single one. Charles Farley for you says, Harrow proves why Christianity is so dangerous. Yes, to non-God believing people like you, it is. It is. You're absolutely right. To fall into the hands of the living God is very, very dangerous. And I wouldn't want to do that if I was you. Let's go thank one of our sponsors before we move on to the next rhino who's going to lose his election, and that is Golden Crest Metals. What is the price? Today, West Texas Intermediate crude oil is trading at approximately $94 per barrel. Okay, great. That's down. Let's see here. Silver. Where are we at with silver? Look at that. Up. 76.43. Where are we at with gold? 4,538. Staying strong. Well, the stock market's killing it. Gold up. Silver up for the year. Stock market up. Oil dropping. And when that strait is fully opened, then you're going to have Aztec and those guys in the YouTube channel apologizing. Your guide to gold and silver IRAs in 2026 can be yours by getting a hold of Golden Crest Metals. That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Rich and his team are always on standby waiting. And they say that the people that call from LFA TV are the most kind and generous and polite people that they've ever talked to. Get your educational guide today about which silver and gold to invest in, because there are differences between bullion and bars and everything else. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Debbie said farmers are planting, but they're also concerned about the water and the data centers, or that the data centers are taking. Well, this is why states should put data centers in places that aren't affecting anyone else. And a lot of the people a lot of states that are putting data centers in are very, very, very conscious of the environment. There are other states that are not. And that comes down to the state. But as far as data centers go, you have two choices, have them or don't. If you don't, say hello to being a third world country. If you do it responsibly. Do it responsibly. But you have to have them. If you're going to be the leader in chip manufacturing, AI, and all that, you have to have them. Now, I wish we could go back to the 80s when this stuff didn't exist. But the fact of the matter is, it does. It's the way it is. It's like voting by mail and early. We hate doing that, don't we? But we did it and we won, didn't we? All right, hold on. I want to get to John Cornyn. Today is the day, ladies and gentlemen, that John Cornyn, another rhino, the second in 10 days, Bill Cassidy first. Now we're going to get rid of John Cornyn. Here is another rhino, Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis, John Thune, John Cornyn, Bill Cassidy, Langford. In a lot of cases, Tom Cotton. They're all cut from the same cloth. They're all cut from the same cloth. And we've got to get rid of these people. And we are. Here's Tom Tillis trying to stump for John Cornyn.
Last question, though. Is there going to be something of a you only live once, YOLO caucus of Republicans on their way out the door that President Trump has helped pressure and instigate?
It's, you know what I try to tell everybody, folks, if you're not running for re-election, then that one filter that you need to make sure your words are measured so that the Democrats can't use it against you and maybe some Republicans, you've just got to have that extra filter. And I'm telling you, it's great not having it so that you can get the same point across, but now you can use unambiguous words. And I'm being unambiguous on Paxton. He is a failure. He doesn't deserve to be in the U.S. Senate. And John Cornyn is one of the most powerful, one of the most influential, one of the most patriotic members I've had the privilege to serve with over the last 11 years.
All right, Senator Tom Tillis, YOLO with the bolo. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
YOLO with a bolo, says Fake Tapper. What do you think John Thune is going to do once he realizes that two of his most trusted Republican establishment confidants have been primaried within 10 days of each other? What do you think John Thune is going to do when he realizes that his little establishment behind the doors, backdoor deal team is one by one dropping off? You think he's going to capitulate? You think he's going to sign, or I mean not sign, but you think he's going to put the Save America Act on the Senate floor? You think he's going to get rid of the filibuster in order to pass it? Look, John Thune is not an old guy. Eli, can you do me a favor? Can you look up how old John Thune is? I'm guessing John Thune's probably around regular retirement age, probably 63 to 65 years old. But relatively, in the since we don't have term limits in politics, it's a young guy. He has many years left in him, but he'll be gone too. Eli, how old's John Thune?
Born January 7th, 1961. He is 65.
Okay, 65 years old. He's a year older. He's a year younger than my mother. Trust me, he wants to stay in office. But if we want to retire, if he doesn't pass this, get rid of this filibuster, which the Democrats already said they're doing. Hakeem Jeffries is calling for it. Chuck Schumer said if they take back the Senate, they're getting rid of it. So Democrats can't even argue whether the filibuster should be there or not because they're actively calling for their party to get rid of it if they take power back. So let's get rid of it now and let's pass the Save America Act. If you don't, John Thune, you will be primaried. And we're not saying if you don't put it on the floor for a vote. If you don't get rid of the filibuster, you will be primaried. Period. And 2028's coming pretty quick. We'll get rid of you faster than you can say Trump derangement syndrome. Rick Young, again, another thing you're wrong. Tulsi Gabbard quit because she disagreed with the president on Iran. Wrong. Tulsi Gabbard said she left because her husband is in desperate need of her to be there. And she can't be gone 24/7. So I guess you're wrong again. Or do you know better than she does? Wonder Bread, Republicans don't care about the gas prices. She says it's funny to watch Republicans eat crow at the local gas station. We're not eating crow. We know what's going to happen. We know where we're going. We know you're going to forget about the price reduction just like you did eggs and you'll never mention it again. We're okay with it. We're not mad because of it. We're not eating crow because of it. We told you they were going to go higher. But you should be okay with that. With your president, they were right where they are right now. Matter of fact, they were higher in a lot of cases. So we're okay with it. It doesn't bother us. Not at all. I don't know why you guys think that bothers us. See, at least our gas prices went up for a reason that we chose at this time to do. Trump said, gas prices are going to go higher. It's going to hurt for a little bit, but the economy's strong enough to sustain it. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it now. That's exactly what we said was going to happen on February 28th. You're just too stupid to remember that. It doesn't bother us. Now, Texas. Remember, Ken Paxton, Trump says, was a great attorney general, probably the best in the country. He was also very loyal to your favorite president, me, as the Democrats played their ultimate game of weaponization and failed badly. I love Texas, and I won it all 3 times, getting by far the highest A-record vote in the history of that great and beautiful state. Ken's opponent was very disloyal to me as president and didn't fight hard enough for the desperately needed Save America Act, voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots, with the exceptions for military, illness, disability, or travel. What more needs to be said? Vote for Ken Paxton on Tuesday. He will never let you down. President Donald J. Trump. See, we're getting rid of Democrats. How many Democrats have resigned in disgrace, quit, or did not, or announced they're not going to sign up for re-election? How many? A dozen or more? We've gotten rid of rhinos for the last year and a half. Where's Dan Crenshaw? How's he doing? Where's Marjorie Taylor Greene? How's she doing? Where's Liz Cheney? How's she doing? Where's Thomas Massey? How's he doing? You see, all you people who hate Trump on this live chat, funny thing about it is, America doesn't agree with you because America keeps riding with him. Matter of fact, CNN just put out a clip yesterday that said that 82% of Americans polled, Democrats and Republicans, say that President Trump has a better handle on crime than Democrats ever will. Where's all the crime again? Well, the crime is in Democrat-run cities. Can anybody in this chat or on the Rumble live chat or YouTube live chat, can anybody name me one Democrat major city that's prospering? One major Democrat city that is not in detrimental debt, and one major Democrat city that people are saying is prospering and they would love to move to. You can't name one. And they run them all. They run them all by promising, over-promising, under-delivering, and they own them all because of illegal aliens. You take away the illegal alien vote, and you take away the I promise you something vote and you never get it vote, they don't win the cities ever. That's how you turn the country around. You can't name one prospering Democrat-run city. You can't. They don't exist, not by the numbers. They're all in major, major crisis mode. All of them. Why? Could it be because they're run by Democrats? Now, the only thing that you can point to is gas prices. That's it. You can't point to anything else. You can't point to taxes because the big beautiful bill gave you a tax cut. You can't point to no tax on tips and all that because President Trump did that for you. You can't point to the border is open because it's not. The only criticism that you can have of President Trump is gas prices, period. You can't say protein prices because those were up under Biden. Can't say that either. The only thing you can say is gas prices. And as soon as that strait is open, what are you going to say then? Oh, and some of you might say Epstein, but yeah. How's that working out for you?
March, voters narrowed the pool of candidates down to 2 for this runoff primary election, Senator John Cornyn and State Attorney General Ken Paxton. In the first go-around on March 3rd, U.S. Senator John Cornyn secured the largest number of votes. A win today would help him get one step closer to a 5th term. The winner will face Democratic State Rep James Telrico in the general election, and both Republican candidates argue that their opponent would only help out the Democrats.
Were he to be the nominee and be exposed to general election voters, especially independents, I think it's going to be a very rocky time. There will be an incredible tsunami of Democratic funds coming in against Paxton were he the nominee.
This argument is made by John Cornyn because he's having trouble in his own primary. There's no data that suggests that he's right. As a matter of fact, most of the polling suggests I'll do as well or better than John Cornyn. Secondly, I've already won 3 statewide races in a row, some of them by large margins. So that's ridiculous.
Attorney General Paxton was the second-place finisher in the March vote, and last week he received President Donald Trump's endorsement, who had criticized Cornyn for dismissing Trump's 2024 comeback chances. Only 2 incumbent U.S. senators from Texas have lost a primary in the last 100 years. So again, polls open this morning, and they will close statewide at 7 p.m. this evening, local time. Carly Todd, back to you.
All right, Alex Hogan live for us. Alex, thank you so much. And Senator John Cornyn will join.
Somebody in the YouTube chat, Eli, said, I hate Trump. Hold on. I hate Trump. He disrespected the military service of John McCain. I won't say anything ill of the dead. What I will say is, John McCain, while he was alive on this earth, was a loser. And there ain't no shame in my game for calling that. Heroes don't get caught. And when they do get caught, they don't spill the beans and get other people killed. Eli, have you ever saw a superhero movie where the hero gets caught and gets forced to give secrets that kill other people? Or is the definition of a hero somebody who wins and saves other people?
Saves other people. Now, by your very, feelings, words, whatever, about that, I want to know exactly how you feel about all the people on the left disrespecting the memory of Charlie Kirk after he died.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel about that one.
Yeah.
Are you on that level too, or do you only hate Trump because Trump bad, he made me mad?
Yeah. And this is how dumb somebody like Dee is in YouTube. John McCain was a hero until Trump told you he wasn't. No. John McCain stopped being a hero when he started pushing the Ukrainian war in 2014 with Lindsey Graham. That's when he wasn't a hero no more. When he decided that the war with Ukraine was needed so badly that he was going to work with Hillary Clinton and the left, and him and Lindsey Graham, the warmongers of the Republican Party, were going to invade Russia and help Ukraine. That was 2014. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Dee, but wasn't that 2 years before Trump won the presidency? Yeah, we couldn't stand him then. Couldn't stand him then. And you can say Trump is a coward all you want, but he's still your president. He's a billionaire. Gives away all of the money that he gets for being in office. And people tried to kill him multiple times. And if somebody shot you and it grazed you and you were bleeding, guaranteed, Dee, you wouldn't jump up and say, fight, fight, fight. You would run. You would cry. You would scream. Most of you people couldn't live a half a day in Trump's life. Period. Eli?
Friggin' illegal over there. I wonder, and I bet you are, if you are an actual illegal alien. He said, what about a coward with daddy's bones to pay out? Did you serve in our military, dipshit? And please remind us, what branch Obama and Biden served in? Stop playing that card. It's pathetic, and so are you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what branch of the service did Obama serve in? Or Joe Biden? Or George Bush? Or Bill Clinton? Or Ronald Reagan? Wait, did Ronald Reagan serve? Eli, did Ronald Reagan ever serve before he was an actor? Can you look that up? I'm not sure if he did or not. But either way, you can't use that. You can use it all you want, but you sound like a retard. Eli?
Yes, Ronald Reagan was in the military. He served in the United States Army and Army Air Forces during World War II, reaching the rank of captain.
Well, there you go. I figured that maybe he did once I said it. Somebody said George Bush was in the National Guard. Didn't know that. Guess you learn something new every day. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, another Republican that I could do without. Don't really care for the guy. But Ted Cruz named the GOP senators, the 4 GOP senators who are opposing Trump no matter what. We all know who they are.
On just electorally, there are several Republican senators who are just really, really unhappy. Bill Cassidy, Republican from Louisiana. President Trump endorsed against him. He just had his primary. He had 2 candidates, Letlow and Fleming, running against him. Cassidy came in third, so he did not make the runoff. So it is 100% that next year Bill Cassidy will not be a senator in the United States Senate. Now, this is not subtle or rocket science. Bill Cassidy's pissed. He is angry. He's angry at the president. There
Now
are
he's
consequences
unemployed anger.
when you
Anger.
endorse and defeat a sitting
Anger
Republican
man.
president. A second Republican senator who's unhappy is Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis, Republican from North Carolina. President Trump has been extremely critical of Tillis. He pledged to defeat Tillis in his election. And so Tillis dropped out. He's not running for re-election. He's going to be gone. Instead, Michael Whatley's a good guy, is running for his seat, but it's an open seat now. And Tillis did it because the president came out hard against it. But that's a second Republican who's pretty damn chippy.
Cornyn's gone next today.
A third Republican who was not there for this meeting, but is my colleague, John Cornyn. So John Cornyn, the senior senator from Texas, he is in the middle of his primary right now in Texas. The primary is next Tuesday. We are right now, as we speak, in the middle of early voting, so Texans are voting right now. And this week, President Trump endorsed Cornyn's primary opponent, Ken Paxton. Now, that is going to have a massive effect on the election. We talked about this in the last podcast, how President Trump's impact in each of these races had a really big impact. But, and I will say Cornyn was not there, but I think it's fair to expect, and I say this without John having expressed this, but it's fair to expect John's going to be less than thrilled. And then finally, Rand Paul. So we had a Kentucky primary with Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie is a House member. Thomas Massie is very, very closely aligned with Rand Paul. Thomas Massie is a libertarian. He's a really smart guy, MIT graduate. But he is someone who, number one, has been passionately anti-Israel in a way that I think has been pretty extreme. But secondly, Thomas Massie has voted against Donald Trump over and over and over again. The biggest legislative accomplishment we've had of the second term, which is the one big beautiful bill, also called the Working Families Tax Cut, Massie voted no. And Massie has voted no over and over and over again. I like Thomas. He's a really smart guy. He's an interesting guy. He believes in what he's saying. But President Trump is understandably pissed because Massie votes no and votes against President Trump over and over and over again.
See, Ted Cruz learned something. Ted Cruz learned, I'm a rhino, but I know that if I go against the base of the Republican Party, I have no chance. Trump is the base of the Republican Party. You have no chance when you go against him. You have no chance. And when I say when you go against him, I mean when you go against us. We put him there. He's trying to do the things that we want him to do. And when I say we, people over on YouTube, I mean most of the people you know. Because a majority of the country voted for Trump. And a majority of the country, the primary reason they voted for him was the border. That means illegal aliens. That means that we're coming and that are here. That was the primary reason. One thing I admire about Barack Obama is he deported far more people than President Trump. Why? because the courts have President Trump locked up every which way you can go when it comes to these deportations, and he's still deporting millions. Well, more are voluntarily leaving than involuntarily. I want to see the involuntary ramp up. I want to see grabbing people off the streets, throwing them in the back of paddy wagons, giving them a nice plane ticket, and sending them back to where they came from. All day, every day. I admire Barack Obama for being the deporter-in-chief. Although those numbers were skewed, they weren't actual deportation numbers. They were counting people that were turned away at the border as a deportation. So that is why his numbers looked as high as they were. But I still envy the fact that he's nicknamed the deporter-in-chief. So the majority of the country voted for Trump on illegal immigration. So that is why what goes on in the Delaney detention hall, majority of Americans look at that and say, that's retarded. And that's why the Democrats have a 20% approval rating if you believe the polls. That's why they also have negative $3 million, because nobody's donating to their dumb asses. They can't steal it through USAID anymore. Explain to me about that, lefties that are watching on YouTube right now. How did the Democrats go from out-raising Republicans for the last 30 years to all of a sudden not be able to raise a damn dime? Tell me how that is. Instead of saying Trump is bad, let's talk about your party for a minute. Your party can't raise enough money to win dog catcher. How is that the case? What happened? It's almost like when COVID came and all of a sudden there was no flu numbers, but the COVID numbers replaced the exact number of flu deaths that there were. Let's think logically here. If you love America, at least find some common ground on that as well. And the common ground is what? And the other thing that the American people voted for President Trump on, the second thing, was affordability. Affordability. Gas prices were, under Biden, what they are right now. But everything else was through the roof as well. Inflation was a lot higher. Taxes were a lot higher. Remember? If you did you already forget that in a year and a half? Interest rates were higher. And by the way, not one Epstein file was released under Biden. Not one. America said MAGA isn't Republican. MAGA is the party of Trump. Exactly. Exactly. We took the Republican Party over. Just like we're going to take everything else over too. We don't bow down to weaklings like you. Aztec is laughing on affordability. What is higher outside of gas and certain protein? What's higher? Aztec, tell me. Because you get to keep more of your money because the tax break in the big, beautiful bill. People that have Social Security, make money on tips, and work overtime, bring more money into the house and give less to the government. So, name me the unaffordability outside of gas, which is the same as it was then. Instead of laughing, Aztec, with your stupid laugh faces, speak. You have the freedom to type. You type stupid shit all day. Speak. Trump dodged the draft. And the Stormy Daniels payment, he says. Cool. Now speak. My Whataburger meal? Maybe you should skip a Whataburger meal. Maybe you should cook at home. Maybe you should stop being a lazy DoorDasher. Cars aren't more expensive. Cars aren't more expensive. No, and nowhere did car prices automatically go through the roof. As a matter of fact, used car prices hit an all-time high in 2023. Rick says the cost of rent and housing through the roof. Same as it was a year and a half ago. No different. As a matter of fact, it costs less to buy a house today than it did then because the rates are down. So you're lying there. Anything else? David, continuing, the cost of gas is climbing. Hey, how many people in the chat said their gas went down over the last 2 weeks? We just saw hundreds of people say that, by the way. You can't say everything is more expensive, Dee. You have to give specifics on what's more expensive. So I can either say you're right or you're wrong. Bah ha ha. Only laughing. That's all they give over there, Eli. That's all they give over there. They can't give any specifics because it's almost, let's move on. Speaking of elections, Thomas Massie files FEC paperwork for 2028 House run or something else days after the crushing primary defeat. He lost by double digits in his own state, and he's filing to run again, and his followers are pushing him to run for president of the United States of America. Thomas Massie, the pedophile protector, right? Thomas Massie, the pedophile protector. Now you may say, well, why is Thomas Massie a pedophile protector? Wasn't he on the steps of Congress talking about release the files, release the names, release the files? Sure was. Sure was. Standing there with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ro Khanna, and a bunch of victims who said they were raped by high-profile names, big-name people who run the world. Hey, Eli, if you knew the names of a bunch of pedophiles who, if it was told to the world that they were pedophiles, that they would go to prison, would you keep it quiet or would you say who did it?
I would obviously say who did it.
Yeah. I think most people would, right? Hey, Aztec, Rick, or any of you other dummies in the live chat over there. Quick question. If you knew somebody was raping a little kid, or if you knew somebody had raped minors, would you tell the world? Aroha still. You seem to want to bump your stupid young female gums in the chat. If you knew the names of people who banged kids, would you not say who they were? Because Thomas Massie knows. He says he does. He says he is going to name names on the Congress steps before he leaves office. Well, that means Ro Khanna knows, Marjorie Taylor Greene knows, Lauren Boebert knows, and anybody who's had a declassified briefing on these names, they know. So how come he doesn't release them? He calls everybody a pet. Guys, by the way, I'm proving you wrong here in the live chat, in the YouTube chat, just so you know. You know, you the way you're trying to agree here is comical because my point that I'm trying to make here is that no Epstein files were released under Joe Biden. None. Even though we all called for it. None. As soon as they started getting declassified by the intelligence agency, names were put out, right? Now, names were redacted, and only the people on the Oversight Committee, the Judicial Committee, and the Epstein Task Force saw these names, Democrats and Republicans. But the funny thing about it is the whole play here is Republicans are pedophile protectors. How about almost everybody in D.C. is a pedophile protector? And everything that there is to release has been released. Do you know what hasn't been released that would put all these people in prison for life? Files that were taken, that were destroyed in burn bags by James Comey's daughter in the Southern District of New York. James Comey's daughter, Ro Khanna, Hakeem Jeffries, they all know. How come they don't say them? I mean, isn't that a good question to ask? And the people who are screaming pedophile protector and know the names, are protecting pedophiles. It's amazing. So Thomas Massie is a pedophile protector who says he possibly could run for the president of the United States of America, but lost his home state by double digits. It's amazing. Really is. Maureen Comey, you guys should look her up. She deleted a lot. Thomas Massie, when asked if he's going to run for president, refuses to say whether he's going to or not. And this is what happens in the new MAGA party when you go against the people. You get voted out. And now he'll just be an unemployed. Well, he has a massive farm. He sells cows. He makes millions of dollars. He got paid a lot of money by billionaire donors for his run that he lost. So all this is a grift. All this is to keep money coming in for himself. I will guarantee you he doesn't run for congressman or president.
Congressman, I want to ask about your political future. Some of your supporters were chanting "President, President" as you delivered your speech on Tuesday night. Are you considering a run for president in 2028?
I will not rule out anything, and right now I'm not going to rule in anything. Look, I've spent the last 5 days on my farm with my grandkids and my cattle and my peach trees, and it's a pretty nice life. I don't know if I want to screw that up again. I've been in Congress 14 years fighting. Every hour that passes, I get decompressed a little bit more. It's like coming up from the bottom of the ocean. And I'll take some time and decide what's next. But I think I will stay engaged in some way or shape. Maybe it's from the outside. I've been exposing what's going on in Washington, D.C. for years, and I'll keep doing it.
Congressman, I hear you not ruling a potential run for president out. Would you run as a Republican?
I won't rule anything out. I won't rule out a run for county commissioner. I used to be the county judge executive here. That was probably the best job I ever had in politics.
He won't run for anything. Nothing. He's too weak. Wonder Bread says that it's crazy how a guy can speak so much but have no value in what he's saying. But I'm mentally dominating you right now because you've been here for 2 hours. You can't get enough of it. You can't stop watching it. You love the content that we're producing here and the message that we're talking about so much, you can't leave. That's called mental dominance over you. This guy lost. This guy is lost. This is where Thomas Massie vows to read the names of all of the Epstein file, the lists on the Capitol steps. Say them now. Say them now.
I want to ask about the Epstein files. As you've noted, the speech and debate clause actually protects you from being prosecuted for whatever you say on the floor of the House. You have named names in the Epstein files in the past. Can we expect you to name more names in the coming weeks and months?
Yes. Todd Blanche is violating the law. There's still millions of files they haven't released. We know from talking to the victims' lawyers that their own 302 forms haven't been released. We know that files have been over-redacted. I have released at least 3 names of billionaires who are implicated in this. I don't think it's possible to get to convictions with Todd Blanche at the top and with the FBI director, Kash Patel, at the top, because they've effectively both perjured themselves by saying that there's nobody else in the files. Even Melania doesn't believe that. The First Lady knows that Jeffrey Epstein didn't act alone. And here's the great thing, Kristen. Whether I'm in Congress or not, the Epstein Files Transparency Act is a law, and it goes on for years. So if we can't get this Attorney General and this FBI Director to do the right thing, the next ones who take those seats are obligated by law to release the files that these individuals are not releasing now.
Congressman, I want to ask.
Just release it. Everybody wants to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I believe this is one thing we're all on the same page. All the lefties, all the righties, all the MAGA, all the far left retarded people. I believe we are all on the same page. Release the names. Get it out there. Stop waiting for the damn files. Just release the names. Nobody cares about the files that may or may not ever be released, that may or may not were destroyed. We care about the names. So why not? Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna's a Democrat. Thomas Massie's a Libertarian. Marjorie Taylor Greene was a Republican. Rick said, what you're saying about Comey's daughter is unfounded rumor on the internet. Actually, it's not. Have you heard the burn bag report? Have you heard about that? It's an official report. The FBI and the CIA, and the NSA and the DOJ put out reports on the burn bags they found in the Southern District of New York. So I think we can all agree, right? I think the people that hate me over on YouTube, I think we could all agree, just release the names. Why is that so difficult to do? Why do we have to wait for a file that may or may not exist? He clearly knows there's names, so let's name them. I'm all for that. I think most people are. And if you're not for naming names, then you are also a pedophile protector. Period. Eli, have you seen some of these people's pictures over here on YouTube, by the way? Have you looked at any of these people over here? They look exactly about how they speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the ones arguing against Trump and hating Trump, they've got a picture of the doll from the Saw movies or something completely different. Not their face, because they're not proud enough to show their own face.
Jules Patriot says in the Rumble chat that Massie is being funded by the Islamists and the DSA. Truth. He was. Absolutely. R-Star says Massie is a creep. MTG was with Code Pink, funded by NGOs and USAID. Absolutely. You wonder where all these people's money came from, right? Thomas Massie is exactly what he calls other people. A pedophile protector. AOC and Kamala Harris both leave the door open for running for president. I'm just going to tell you this right now. If AOC, Gavin Newsom, and Kamala Harris all run for the Democrat nomination for president of 2028, I support that. I support that 1,000,000%. I want them to run. I actually would love if Obama and Trump were able to both run for a third term against each other. That would be great. To watch Obama get spanked by Trump, I think Trump would want that too. But if Kamala Harris, AOC, and Gavin Newsom run for president, I'm all for that. I'll take that all the live long day. All the live long day. Now, speaking of Gavin, he declared a state of emergency in Orange County as experts warn a chemical tank could explode while firefighters find a crack in the tank. And there is an update on this. Let's go on the scene with the fire department there.
I'm TJ McGovern, interim fire chief for the Orange County Fire Authority, and I want to give you a quick update of an operation that we did last night. Yesterday, we built a specialized team with subject matter experts. We developed a plan to go do an operation last night, late night, to go get eyes and do a recon mission on the tank. During that operation, our firefighters went in and they were able to visualize the tank. What they found was a potential crack in the tank, which could potentially be relieving some of the pressure in there. We took that information, we got data on it, and right now this morning what we're doing is we are vetting and validating that information. With this new information, it could change our trajectory and our strategy to this event. Last night was a successful operation for this emerging incident and this ongoing incident. There's going to be a lot more information coming today as we sit here right now and vet and validate all that information that we got last night. I want to thank the public for their patience. I know this is a disruption. Your protection, your life safety is our paramount responsibility right now. We know you're out of your homes. We want to get you back, but we cannot do that until it's deemed safe. But I want to reiterate, last night, this operation that we did gave us positive intel to make educated decisions today in the positive light. We're not there yet, but this was a step in a right direction, and there's going to be a lot more coming shortly. Thank you.
So there was a state of emergency declared over that, and his actual state of emergency is, I'm proclaiming a state of emergency in Orange County as California continues to respond to the hazardous chemical incident in Garden Grove. And, that state, California, more people have left that state, even percentage-wise, not even overall number, percentage-wise, than any other state in the nation. Why is that? Well, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show. You cannot find one single major city that's thriving. And the common denominator is they're all run by the left. All of them. It's sad. California was such a great state at one time. I don't know if it could ever be again. There are people staying there fighting it. Hats off to them. I don't know how you could stand it. You know what's funny is the people in California crying about Trump and the gas prices. I think that's hilarious. These gas prices in California are horrible. Thanks a lot, Trump. That's why I said earlier that the same gallon of gas costs $3 less in the Midwest and the South than it does in California or New York, because the gas taxes are so incredibly high. Same people that also said that Joe Biden doesn't control the gas prices, by the way, which we said president's policies do control the gas prices. Is gas up right now? Eli, can you do me a favor? Find out what the lowest price of gas was under President Trump in this term. So after he took office in January of 2025, what did gas get down to from January 2025 until now? This will prove it right here. What is the lowest it got down to? Do you have that?
Well, what I asked was, what was the lowest price of gas under Trump in his current term? This is what I got. During his first term, 2017 to 2021, the national average price of gas hit at its lowest point at roughly $1.77 per gallon in April 2020, driven by the COVID-19 pandemic. During his second term, starting in 2025, the national average hit a 4-year low of about $2.98 per gallon in October 2025.
Okay. Stop. How did gas go down from being the price that it is right now under Joe Biden to $2 and whatever, he's just $2.90 something cents, national average? How did it go down like that? If presidents and policy do not control the price of gas, how did it possibly go down? You mean to tell me that everybody just started not driving when President Trump became president and the supply and demand changed so much? So I would say to you, yes, the reason why gas is where it is today is because President Trump decided to wipe out the Ayatollah. You're 100% right. If you want to blame President Trump for the gas prices, you can blame his policy for the uptick in gas. Prices, though, where they are and why they are where they are, those are set by the oil executives and the gas companies. Does the president's policy sway it? Absolutely it does. And on February 28th, when President Trump said, we are going to hit Iran, we're going to hit them hard. This is going to hurt for a while. We are going to see some short-term pain for some long-term gain. You are going to pay more at the pump. Did you not see the speech? Not a bot GPT said Biden's lowest was $1. And that is why nobody takes you seriously. Eddie says, you're full of it, pal. but with no argument to say why I'm full of it. What was the highest price under Biden, Eli? Can you look up that? The highest gas price under Biden. We'll stay in California here for a minute. California Democrat candidate Tom Steyer says, I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in school. Well, guess what? That is another subject that American people are not behind. Americans, as a whole, do not want trans people in sports, meaning trans boys in girl sports. Eli, what'd you get for gas prices under Biden?
Highest national average price of gas during the Biden administration reached an all-time record high of $5.02 per gallon in June 2022.
No shit. No shit. Where were you dumbasses on YouTube crying? Where were you crying then? I remember what you were crying. President doesn't do gas prices. No shit. So, even with these higher gas prices, Eli, Joe Biden's gas prices were much higher. By a lot.
It would appear so.
Well, look at that. I guess you retards are wrong again. Proving myself right even again. You just hate Trump.
I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. I think when you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand that almost half of them try to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And then you think we're going to punish those kids. We're going to cut them off from team sports. We're going to cut them off from participating in the community.
Yes.
We're going to cut them off from fun.
Yes.
It's like, no, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. And we did.
And, you know, as someone who played sports my whole life and loved sports and loved playing sports, they're more important things than whether you start on your high school basketball team.
Oh, are there? Are there more important things than a man who is boxing in a women's division and beating her to death, or MMA? Is there more important things than working your whole life to go to the Olympics to possibly win gold, bronze, or silver and win none of those because men beat you out? Or how about women who say, I'm not gonna compete against men. Are you out of your mind? And then everything that they've ever worked for gone in an instant because you want men to compete against women. By the way, what'd the Olympics just do? No men ever will compete against women ever again. Good on them. I love sports. Nobody should be able to not participate. They should if they're fighting or playing or competing against people who are far less physically able than they are, yes. Eli, can I just go into the Special Olympics and dominate? Let me go into the Special Olympics and dominate. Why not? What's the difference?
Yep, I'm absolutely getting so sick and tired of these tired-ass arguments and scumbags like that who twist the words. Do you want to know why there's an elevated possibility of these kids committing suicide? Because you twisted their friggin' minds up to begin with by telling them they should lop off their you-know-what, or lop these off, and now they're all screwed up in the head. Now you're telling them, you can be in any sport, you can be anything you want. You've destroyed the minds of these children, and now you try to stand by and say, we're trying to stand up for them. They can do whatever they want to do. Screw you.
Oh, and by the way, to not a bot said Biden's lowest was 234. That was when nobody was driving and everything was locked down, and the supply and the demand was at a complete all-time low around the world, and he still couldn't break down lower than $2. You dipshit idiot. I love when these people argue themselves right into a corner. It was at its lowest when everybody was locked down and not driving. Dumbass. Stock market was at an all-time low, too, at that time. Dumbass. Unreal. Spencer Pratt. What's up, Eli?
And sorry, why are you trying to give Biden kudos over that? The president doesn't control the gas prices.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You went in one moment, you just said the president doesn't, and the next moment you tried to argue how great he did during COVID when everything was locked down. Amazing.
What are your plans for the over 40,000 homeless in Los Angeles?
Yeah, they're not homeless. They're drug addicts. Most of these people are addicted to fentanyl and meth.
Right.
This isn't Spencer
making it up. Are you saying they don't have homes?
there is places for all of these people to sleep in LA. No matter what anybody tells you, we have housing and shelter for everyone that's living on the street. They are choosing to be on the street because they want to do drugs. They don't want rules. They don't want to listen. They want to have animals to abuse. This idea that they're forced on the street right now is a lie that our city is perpetuating. We've paid $24 billion to house these 40,000 people. There's spots for all of these people. They are choosing because they're an addict, and you can do fentanyl and super meth on the sidewalk with no repercussions. These places are not as they have to follow some rules. You can't torture a dog in some of these houses. You can't just attack people. You can't just be naked.
Where are you going to move?
Well, I just released a 9-minute video, so you can.
I think I saw your video.
Yeah, so it's very detailed.
But it's going to take time to build the facility and money.
No.
How fast do you think you can do it?
These people can literally. I went to Washington and I saw miles of the most insane prefabricated housing and building. I asked all the CEOs of these companies, say, how long does this take? I met with FEMA and HUD, 3 days. 3 days. And all of this is cheaper than trying to take over, kick senior citizens out of their buildings. This is what happens. They kick them out, and then the NGOs come in and they spend 4 years. This is LA. This is LA's timetable.
Where is this facility going to be?
It's on beautiful federal land property.
Where, in LA County?
Well, when I'm mayor, I'll go meet with the federal government and I'll get the property. Right now, I'm just running, so I can't give you the exact address because I don't have the legal responsibility to go represent Los Angeles and say, can I have this land? But when I'm mayor, I promise you, because we have the Olympics coming and everybody in the government wants LA to be the #1 most beautiful city, they will work with me to give me the land I need.
So you're going to move these 40,000 people somewhere, and you're going to have this facility up in, you said, how long?
Here's what you got to realize.
90 days?
Let me explain something. These 40,000 people, 60% of them, City Watch just announced this week, are not from Los Angeles. They're not from California. These people have been bussed in by scam rehabs, scam NGOs, scam homeless nonprofits. These people, when I unplug them and say, we're not taking our tax money anymore, they're all going to Seattle, where the mayor will welcome them. These are products to a lot of people. So the people that want to keep doing drugs and live on the sidewalk, a lot of these people are going to leave. The other ones, there's a lot of criminals. There's people that are getting naked in front of kids. They're going to jail. The people that are torturing animals, they're going to jail. So not everyone goes in the same box.
That's right. Sarah, the retard on YouTube, says, so people just choosing to be homeless? Why would anybody choose to be homeless? Yes, they are. Did you hear what he said? They don't have to live on the streets. They choose to live on the streets because that's where they can do all the drugs and drinking they want with no rules and no oversight. There was plenty of money for these idiots to be taken off the street. They don't want to be because they're addicted to drugs. Yes, most people choose to be homeless. Now, I told you real quick I would tell you about the Ukraine and Russia war. Funny thing about that is, enough is enough. UK, France, Spain, Italy, and Canada reportedly reject NATO's plans for any more funding for Ukraine. Go Putin. Time for Volodymyr Zelensky's reign to be over and for the people of Ukraine to have democratic elections again. Because, they've been suspended since Zelensky has caused a war and has done nothing but rape every country for money. Give me more money, please. Give me more money, please. No more money for you, you gay cokehead. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Will Johnson is coming up next, though, here on LFA TV, and I am sure the YouTube crowd has got something to say about him because, leftists are racist. Anyway, Will Johnson is coming up next here on LFA TV, so make sure you stay tuned. Eli, I don't see him tuned up anywhere, just so you know. Making sure that Will's coming in before we hand it off to him. Yeah, he is. Okay. They're gonna hate this. Will Johnson coming up next. Hey folks, there are right ways and wrong ways, but there's only one Yahweh. So stand up tall, keep your shoulders back, keep your chest out, keep your head up high. Because guess what? You believe in Jesus, you're a child of God, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're probably a Democrat and you're lost. Have a great day, everybody. Keep your family and friends close. Keep your pets close if you live near Haitians. And whatever you do, never stop fighting for this country and making America great again. And always spread the gospel. Love you guys. Peace.
I wear the armor of God now. I wear the armor of God now. Rebirth of America. Been a long time coming and we all learned something that we won't ever give it up. No way. Long as I'm bleeding, I'ma never stop screaming that we first in America. Black, white, brown, all cities, all towns, the rebirth.